pull up in my wheel. Got the lean, I'm on the seal. Diamonds dancing on my wrist. When I'm fucking on your bed. Holding my hand to the wheel. Hitting my hoe. Addicted to a pill.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of ZZZ Mafia presents Z House Podcast with our special guest, Dr. Cotrone, Janice, and Philip. I hope you guys are ready for this.
Thank you so very much for inviting us.
This is great. This is great.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm really so happy to have you guys for real. I was having some issues setting this up today, but I mean we got everything together now, and I'm happy that everything's good.
Oh, definitely.
So if you guys want to get into this, we can go ahead and hop in.
Let's go.
I was gonna say, where are you guys from?
I was born in Arlington, Virginia,
Arlington, Virginia.
outside of D.C. So I'm a Beltway brat.
Beltway Brad. I've never heard that term.
Yeah.
What's a beltway, bro?
The Beltway the road that runs around Washington. D.C.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. All right.
495. I was born just a mile from that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, grew up a mile from that. Born in Arlington,
Arlington, Texas.
Arlington, Virginia.
Oh,
Arlington, Virginia.
Sorry. Oh my
Virginia.
goodness.
Well, okay. So then, how did you get to Missouri? Could we know that?
Lots of steps. I went to college in Indiana. Have worked in Haiti as a nurse for 30 years. My husband and I worked in Naples, Florida. Pastored a church there for 6 years, and then decided to retire in Mansfield, Missouri.
Okay.
That's how we got here.
All right. Are you got something you want to? Question.
Okay. So I saw that you have a degree in nursing and science, and a bachelor in science. What I was gonna ask is, so with your experience in nursing, how would your experience contribute to your duty as a governor?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, nurses care.
Yep.
That's a primary factor of nurses, is that they care. And another thing is nurses problem solve. And they figure out what's keeping a patient from getting healthier, what's keeping them from getting well. Sometimes it's age that they cannot return to where they were when they were 20, of course not. But how can you make today a better day for that person? You work with their families, you work with a medical team, and you create a plan for that particular problem that you identify. And then you put that plan into practice. And then from there, you watch and see what kind of progress they make. Do they go forward? Do they go backward?
Yeah.
If they go backward, then you have to go back and redo another plan all over again. And you tailor it to that person and you work individually with them. So, in Missouri, it's the same thing. Or in a state, on a state level, it's the same thing. You identify a problem and you work with the team to develop a plan. Politicians today just kind of leave it there. I'm not a politician. I will never be a politician. I'm a nurse. I'm a citizen, and I'm working for people. And so politicians, they leave it there. They don't go back and evaluate. They don't go back and look, is this good? Is this making a difference the way you want it to? You go back and you reevaluate the problem, and you look at your outcomes. Am I getting there, or am I not getting there? And if I'm getting there, then you're going to keep on doing the same thing or improve on it. If you're not getting there, then you go back and reevaluate it and do another plan. That's what's missing. And administration, I've done a lot. I'm working the last 12 years. I developed a 4-year RN, it's a registered nurse.
Okay.
Bachelor of Science curriculum. I developed a university in Haiti, country of
Okay.
Haiti. Mm-hmm. So I work in administration every day. I work with budgets every day. I work with
so you
my
wouldn't
students every day.
Yeah,
and
you wouldn't be away from too far away from being able to like look at an issue on something and know exactly where to go to try and solve it.
That's right. And if I can't solve it, I will find who can.
Right. You go. Yeah. outsource until you find who you're looking for the right thing.
That's right.
I think that was a really perfect answer. I like the answer that you came with. So, let me see if I. Okay. Seeing as your 3 kids are adopted, what major issues, if any, would you wish to amend regarding Missouri's foster care system?
Well, that's a good question too. I think the foster care system in Missouri is broken. The reason
Definitely.
I think it's broken is because I think families are broken.
Yes.
And the reason I think families were you just got to go back to where did the problem start? Where did it start? And the worst things of society called the ills of society always trickle downward.
Yeah.
Because gravity
Yes.
is always going to pull down.
Yeah.
You're never going to improve somebody by pulling them down.
You never will. Yeah.
And so the people that are the most vulnerable are our children and the elderly.
Yes. I would agree with you on that. I would
So
completely.
people that are the children,
Mm-hmm.
they're at the brunt of other people's decisions. And if other people are making wrong decisions and wrong choices for them,
Then you're the one stuck with that.
then
That's
that
right.
child is going to have to grow up with that. So go back to the family. Where is the family broken?
Yeah.
And that's the place to fix it.
Would you
That's-
say that the family's broken now though because of the fact that a lot of fathers and mother homes aren't the same way as they were back then?
Exactly.
Like
Well,
you
yeah.
go back 50 years ago,
Yeah.
it was a woman would stick it out with you through anything, and a man would stick it out with you through anything.
Yeah.
And
See?
nowadays,
Yep.
and it's about it's communication, and then also figuring out stuff. It's not just
It used to be.
it's not going to be perfect your first time, but I think a lot of people now want perfect right off the flip.
It's the
Yeah.
empowerment movement. I'm sorry, I gotta say this
Yeah.
new empowerment movement that young men and women are on. It's
Yeah, it's a power trip.
Yes.
it's a distorted reality.
Yes.
Men and women both. You're wanting a unicorn.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yes,
exist.
yes,
That
yeah.
that guy doesn't exist. Name one person that that came exactly tailor made to what you want. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
gonna take.
And
us-
that's another thing too. You have to be able to bend for people,
You gotta
and
bend.
no one wants
We're
to
not
bend.
willing to.
Yeah,
That's-
Yeah.
a
that's
lot of the
right.
thing is like when you're so wrapped up in the idea that you're the person who's like I'm it's me I. You hear these like terms a lot with people who are kind of stuck in this mindset of selfishness. So they'll use that a lot as me I to like they don't know how to say we are this. You have to be able to know when you're right, and you have to be able to know when you're wrong, and then you have to be able to move forward from that situation.
Well, that's true. But back to the foster system, it's a broken system because people are broken.
Yes.
Oh.
Families are broken. And what is it that's breaking families? There's all kinds of things that are coming out. There's all kinds of factors that affect the health of a family.
Yeah.
And but the statistics are so strong that a child that has both mom and dad investing in that child is going to be the percentage of that child growing up as a healthy adult is astronomically more
Right.
than it is in a single family home. Or if grandma and grandpa are raising them, grandma and grandpa
Yes,
already
that's another
raised
thing
their
that
kids.
that is another thing
Yeah.
that happens a lot nowadays is that they're too young to realize. So they go and they have a baby, and they're not even ready in their head. Like
Yeah.
in their heads, they don't even have it. Like
That's right.
no one has a
Baby
perception
seven
of what
days.
you're gonna have. They don't
Yeah.
come with the manual. They don't come with.
Yeah.
There's
don't
no
come with the
instructions, and so.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too is that people a lot of the times you'll find yourself in a back and forth battle with people about stuff like that because I think a lot of the times guys and girls don't know how to talk anymore. That's the real problem is that like in a relationship sense, but also in general, I feel like a lot of people have like you have your way who you are, and people are just like that, and so I think it's something that you have to decipher as an adult as you're going through.
But becoming comfortable with yourself as an adult, becoming an adult.
Yeah.
It's you're past being a child. Don't act like one. You're an adult now, so we have to start adulting.
Right.
And kids are hesitant to do that, and maybe because they don't have the tools. Or I see here. I've taught community health nursing at Missouri State. Sad things out there.
Yeah.
With families that are not healthy, and you
Yeah.
have both mom and dad in prison, both of them doing drugs. You have grandma at home, and she's doing drugs. She's cooking meth. And how are you going to have healthy kids?
Right.
So
You just
we have to
can't.
go back
You
to
can't go into
identify
that
what
environment.
the problems are.
Yeah.
Once we identify what the problems are, we can start working on those problems. And
I would say that it's not just even like a specific thing. I think it's addiction
No,
in general.
it's
I think it's
not.
addiction in general because a lot of the people who are going through things, a lot of it comes down to you can't beat this mental thing that you have with whatever it is, you know, and it takes a big, strong person to be able to overcome something like that, you know, whether it be, you know, meth, coke, weed. I mean, I don't really consider weed, but weed and alcohol, you know, you have to be able, like, everything has its limits, and you have to, if you're not adult enough to be able to like learn how to like ration, or, you know, and like I said, it's probably best you just don't do drugs, but I'm saying if you are, I mean, most people, they don't know when to stop. And then it gets to a point where they're either broke and don't have nothing and they want that, or they have it and they're in a weird position. Yeah.
But all kinds of the evils and the ills and the bad things in society are going to trickle down to those that are most vulnerable. And the most vulnerable are these kids. But foster care, children are being put in unhealthy situations. Children are being put into compromising situations with foster care parents. And that's not healthy for them.
Yes.
So the best thing is if that child can stay at home, but many times home's not safe.
Yeah, and that's another thing
say that the foster care system is safe either. It's not.
It definitely isn't.
Well, and that's the thing. The people are most. I wanted to say like the people that are the people within the state. They get such a huge caseload with so many kids
And that's true.
that it's like they don't even have the ability to even keep up with it. It doesn't. It's not humanly possible. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you were Usain Bolt with the pin. You're not going to be able to. You know, you have to be able to. You know, that's another thing. They just don't have enough people wanting to go into that field. You know.
I can personally say that the reason I asked that is I was one of those kids in the foster care system and stuff like that, and I came from a home of addicts and everything, and my father was in prison for attempted murder, and my grandparents took me in a year later. But yes, I feel like what you're saying is definitely correct, that with the foster care system, they will throw you in any home and everything, and you never.
You're just a placeholder, just finding a place, and then you can check the box.
Yeah, and you never know who you're going to.
That's not good enough for children. That's not. That's a child. That's a life. That's a person. That's a future. And to just check a box and say, well, we have them in a home, or we have placed that child. Oh, that makes me really upset.
Yeah, it's
It makes me sick to my stomach because, and then they get placed the systems that they have in place to get foster kids. It's also a money scheme.
It is,
in my opinion. So these there's people who will there's people who will purposely go get 20, 25 kids. Right? Hey, yeah, I don't care what they're doing. I don't
trafficking.
care.
It's trafficking.
It is.
The government perpetuates it. And what do you think's happening down there at the border?
Yeah.
That's one thing that people need to pay attention to. What do you think is happening at the border when you've got all of these undocumented people that are pouring over the border?
Yeah.
And the government whisks these kids off, and you know what I mean? So that's something that contributes to the problem.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to yield it back to my mom to answer the question, but it's a problem that I believe really started back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Is it coupled with the CIA's crack epidemic and their whole let's try something new, and it just took the inner city somewhere else.
They kind of did the same thing with reservations and everything, but not with drugs. They would have some of their government people come up to their doors and be like, "Hey, do you not want your kid? We'll take them." And it would happen sometimes. That happened to my birth mother and everything, because my grandmother was on her deathbed and everything, and she had no other choice. And then years later, I got
given no other choice.
Yep. And
she didn't know that, and she was a woman, and
yep.
Tribes in
a
Missouri,
young mother. No, that is so wrong.
For them as well.
That is so wrong.
That's amazing.
That's one thing that I've noticed. One thing I've noticed that a lot of the candidates haven't talked about is what exactly is the candidate for governor going to do for the Native Americans here in this state? Because, Jay Ashcroft hasn't brought that up.
Right.
Neither has Kehoe, Eigel. No one has a real agenda for the Native Americans. and it really
and that's another thing too, is I never understood that in other states, like, they were able, I mean, I know this is going to sound kind of, they had, like, in Oklahoma, you're allowed to do casinos. In Kansas, you're allowed to do casinos, but only in Missouri, you can only do casinos on water. I just always have thought in my head, I said,
weird.
isn't this all the land of, this is all the land of the natives. Let's be honest.
This is
At the
their
end of the day,
land.
this is
Took it from, if people don't know the history, go back and just read President Zachary Taylor, President Polk, with his whole move west. What was the sacrifice that had to happen for that to happen?
Yes.
And so in my head, the way I'm thinking is, okay, I'm not going to start this whole campaign of, let's make drastic changes, but we can increase the some of the aid that the state provides for them. We can also increase and better the education for in the Native American tribes. There are some tribes that aren't really given the proper, in my opinion, representation.
Yeah, no, I honestly
It's
feel like
more
there's a
than
lot
BIA.
more. Yeah, there's a lot more.
And BIA is too, it's way too government regulated.
Yes.
And so again, you have people that I am huge on valuing the value of a person. You can't put enough value on a life.
That's why I didn't. That's okay. I can tell from you guys that you guys are real people. That's why. That's why I didn't understand when I was looking at, like, the Facebook stuff and different things like that, and I'm like, I just didn't understand where, like, people were, like, trying to laugh react or do this or do that, and I'm like, or they were trying to say stuff, and I'm like, you guys are mad. That's what it is. They're mad because you guys are actually good people and you guys are trying to do something for the state of Missouri, but it's just like everything comes with succession in time. So it's like,
Exactly.
and I think also like, it doesn't help when people just hate to hate anyways. If they think that if you have anything going on in your life, you'll notice that people that aren't doing anything with theirs are going to be the ones who are going to try and knock you down the most because they want to, if they can't be on your level, they'd rather have you on their level.
It's always
Gravity pulls down.
It's
Gravity
always those.
pulls down.
There's always those, kind of like in this, for Missouri, I feel like Donald Trump, and I've got my own Hillary Clinton that I got to deal with,
Right.
She's a nasty woman. She's a nasty woman.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I was gonna ask you, what's your guys's like agenda on the prison systems?
Oh man.
What's your guys'
Go ahead. You can go on this one. I'll talk about the prison
If
system.
you can't talk about the prison system without talking about the judicial system.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you talk about the judicial system again. Where does the problem start?
It's broken.
And it is broken. So where do you fix it? And I think you go right back to the family, but the prison system, it's owned by private corporations. The prisons are private families. It's private money.
Right.
And the more heads you have, the more people you have in that system, the more money you have.
More money you have.
And so, why do you think parole doesn't work? It's not supposed to work. It's
Well,
not meant to
because
work.
that's
Because
another.
then they
yeah.
go back into the system again, and there's that much.
Yeah, they're making money for sure
They're
off
making
the
money.
game.
Yeah,
It
and
is
that's
a
why they
game.
call it a revolving door. A lot of the people who are committing crime, they keep committing crime because
it's repeat
yeah.
offender.
Instead of rehabilitation, which is what we really need in Missouri, or
Rehabilitual.
any really all the way throughout
Rehab
the
is
United
Where
States.
are the-
habitual.
Yeah,
But rehab doesn't. What are the incentives?
I'm saying
Where
you
are they?
so first off, your first incentive I feel like would be like you would have to make the decision yourself to want to get sober.
be me.
It's within first, but we don't have anything in line. We don't have anything. We have prison houses, so if you get out of jail, we have somewhere you can go and hang out at. As long as you have a job, you're good, and they don't care what you do all day long. You know what I'm saying?
So who's valuing who?
It's just about the money. It's just about the money.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. And if that person feels like, you know what, I'm worth something.
Right,
I'm better than this. But who's telling them that?
right.
Who's telling them? Who's saying, you know what, you matter. I
Right.
care about you.
The state
and I
doesn't
do.
care.
Yeah, the
The
state.
doesn't
They
care.
just
Because
see you
all
as a
they are
convicted
are-
felon.
They just
Well,
want
and
a
it's
check.
yeah,
They
your
don't care.
money.
They want
As a matter of
money.
fact, I actually.
Money.
I did some looking into stuff myself, and
game.
actually, your social security number is it's connected to the bank system. And so you're actually like with your FDICs and your EINDs and stuff like that for business numbers and all that. You're a business transaction. We're all a business
That's where your
transaction.
net worth is valued at.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
That's
so
crazy.
So the whole system becomes a giant prosecutor.
Yep.
You
Yep.
have a giant prosecutor, and you have no defense.
Yep.
And so these people that find themselves, or these citizens, or these individuals, or these lives that find themselves, they made the wrong choice, they made the wrong decision, they made the wrong, took the wrong road, or they listened to the wrong voices, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah, they're all
They're paying the price. And again, goes right back to the problem. We're not addressing problems.
Yeah, no.
Nobody's addressing
What's
problems.
gonna
Tell them about that.
Why would
that
you
plan.
want to? Because why would you want to address problems? Because that's going to eliminate the problem.
Yeah.
And if you eliminate the problem, then you eliminate that money path.
Yeah,
Why
you're
would
right.
you do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
why
would-
they keep it going.
That's
Yeah.
not good enough for me.
Yeah, they
No,
just want to keep the
people-
money in their pocket. Just keep that money sliding into their
That's
pocket
right,
and everything.
That's right.
If I can say, I will say there's one thing that Missouri's only female candidate for governor did bring up on the ride up here, and I'll let Mom elaborate on it.
Okay.
But, one of the things that she said is there's no reason why someone that is currently sitting in the judicial system on a marijuana charge from 1970.
Yeah.
Weed's legal in Missouri now.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and let your uncle out, or let's let your dad out. Let's expunge his record. Let's clean him up. And there's no reason for him to be sitting there and just wallowing away on something that's not.
Well, and that's another thing too is like there's a lot of
let's work
people
on
who, okay, they were younger, they went and did crazy stuff, they were a part of this, they were a part.
Forgiveness.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's 10 years later now since they've even committed a crime,
Just move on.
and
Change the tire and move on.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, a lot of them are, they're stuck. Some of them get stuck in certain careers or certain paths, or even the Section 8 part of it, or there's different elements to everything. But I think a lot of it is some of them are just kind of caught in the hooks of the system in that sense.
It's
Well-
the system. It's a system that's keeping people from advancing anywhere. And so I look at why. Why is the system doing that? Why are they doing? Because right here.
Yes.
Because somebody or the system is making money off them.
Yeah.
I don't care if Jefferson City hates me. I don't care. That
And
doesn't
that's what I
bother-
was
that doesn't
curious
bother
about
them.
is how do you guys feel about going there and actually being face to face with people who
Could I say kind of somewhat answer this, and then Jeff City is nothing more than a club.
Yeah.
And let's just call a spade a spade.
yeah.
Okay. It's nothing more than a club. It's a close-knit partnership of a whole bunch of moneyed folks that if you take 10 of them in one room, they could buy this entire state and put a down deposit on Arkansas.
Right.
But does that club truly care about your vote? Or does that club only pop their heads out of their fancy cars and their fancy club pachyderm meetings only on election time? Right? And
Yeah.
Where's Ashcroft? Is
I don't
Ashcroft
know.
in here?
Yeah.
Is
If I'm
Steve
gonna,
O-
and that's
Steve
what I
O
was gonna
here?
say to you guys. If I'm gonna be completely honest, a lot of it comes down to I didn't even I don't know a lot about politics. I know Republican, I know Democrat, I know liberal, communist. That's sort of the terminology. I don't actually pay attention to any of it because inside of my head, they're operating at a level up here, which is I'm at a different level and I'm over here in my head.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm they're operating at a higher level than us for sure because they have taxes and they're government people. It's politics in a sense, but
it's all the political structure operates the same way like the prison system, because it's all one person or
a group
a
of
little
people,
conglomerate, right?
right?
And we as Americans are quick to point our finger at Russia, and we'll say, "Oh, look at Russia! Look at that archaic system." We do the same thing
It's a
here.
little
Yeah.
oligarchy.
We have an oligarchy here.
Yeah.
The only difference with us and Russia is they tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
But I want to go back to what you said, because you said there's a level that are up here, and then there's everybody else,
Yeah.
and you're in the everybody else camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like in my head, I mean, with the way that I'm doing stuff, and like we have so many more projects. Like what you guys are seeing here, this is just a base of just little, like this is little compared to like the big stuff to come. Like I'm gonna have a venue out of Joplin, like before you know it, and then like we're about to drop a brand new screamo album through Datora. That's
There
our
you go.
that's our
That's my
our
death metal project.
our death metal project we're working on, and then we got Nowhere Avenue, which is like a Mumford and Son / kind of indie vibe, and then I'm doing.
And your next governor, your 59th
gonna let
governor
me
will come
come?
to your shows.
You gonna let me
The
come?
lieutenant governor and next
Yeah.
governor will come to your shows.
You're
We'll
always
we'll
welcome to
show
our
up.
Yes,
shows.
yes. Oh, we would.
Come and we'll
Yes, no, we
rock
would
out with
definitely
you.
want you guys to come and rock out with us. Yeah, I was gonna
But-
say.
But why don't people understand how government works? How come people aren't working together? Because you have this little club over here that's making all the decisions, and you have all the rest of the population of Missouri that's supposed to follow along behind them. I don't, that's not right.
Right, you want to be
Yeah.
able to fight for every single Missourian,
Not a specific
Missourians
time.
matter.
Yeah,
But what,
Every single one, and
don't choose.
and we all know what the problems are.
yeah,
Everybody knows what the problems are. How can we keep rehashing the same problems? It can't. In nursing, I'd lose my job if you didn't do something to make somebody feel better.
Yeah.
right,
How come we're going over the same problems, the same issues, they ask the same things at debates, the same questions over and over and over? We all know what the problems are.
right. And that's another thing I was wondering is like, you know, what do you do in that situation when you guys do actually like? I wanted to ask you guys how you guys are gonna handle that face to face when you guys actually get to, you know, Jefferson City, when you guys
Well,
are actually in the building
I
and
would
you
do
guys
is-
are the people. What's the
Oh, we ain't gonna play with nah, buddy. I'm gonna keep it a buck 10,000. This goes for St. Louis, Kansas City. We're tired of the inactivity. There's been 17 hours of work up there, and 16 of it.
17 hours of debate wasted in a filibuster.
One caucus, Freedom Caucus, filibustering, doing nothing but wasting time.
Yeah.
So you want the answer to your question? What is it going to be like? Soon as we get in there, see, the lieutenant governor's job is president of the Senate. What we've got right now is Mike Kehoe, and
Yeah.
he wants to be the governor, but he can't seem to get anything done in the Senate.
yeah,
Yeah.
So wake up, Missouri! You're seeing this guy that can't seem to smile. Trek around the state. Oh yeah, he can't. Mike Kehoe don't smile at anybody. He doesn't smile at anybody. When he barely. I felt like. Anyways, so you've got that guy trying to convince you that he wants to be the next governor, but he's a
Right.
used car salesman and he acts like it.
Can't control the Senate. He's
He
supposed
can't
to
control the Senate.
They were given 17 hours to debate, and they filibustered.
And you
want
want to be the governor?
they filibustered for
16
16 hours.
16 of the
hours.
17.
So just
my
wasted
God.
taxpayers'
They just
money.
Wasted
Taxpayers'
time.
money.
Yeah,
And
Missourians'
the-
money.
Yeah,
And the guy
That could have went to schools. That could have went to roads. That could have
Talk
went
to
to.
'em.
The guy
Yeah.
that
Talk
runs, the
to
guy
him.
that wants to be
Yeah.
the governor is the one who's president of the Senate. So where was he?
Yeah,
Where was his gavel?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
they
and that's another thing
wasted
too is a lot
all
of them
that
can't put
time.
their foot down because it is about money. So if
Absolutely.
so if I got 5 people right and they're all digging $1 million towards me,
Donors and
if those
special
two
interests.
if those two of those 5 go, hey, we want this to happen, that's gonna probably happen because they gave you the money for it. They already gave you money. You're in their
Well,
pocket.
It's you just follow the dollar in just about everything. But what am I going to do to problem solve? Okay, I got ideas, but maybe my ideas aren't going to work.
Right.
And I'm not proud enough to say, maybe that was a stupid idea. But you know what? You put people around you, or
Uh-huh.
you go. One of the things that Governor Parson has done, he visits every county every year. 114 counties in Missouri. He goes to all 114 every year. That's a great thing. But you're visiting small businesses, or you're visiting somebody's farm, family hobby farm, or whatever.
Right.
That's not.
And all that is appearances.
It's
Yeah.
appearances.
That's
It's
just so that people you
it's
stay
like,
relevant.
It's like photo shoots. You know what I want to do? And I'm saying this from my heart. We all know what problems are, but people aren't stupid. Missourians are not stupid. They're good people. I've lived
Right.
here for going on 16 years.
They actually care about.
They care about their families and their state and their businesses.
I do.
And their
I care about
schools, and
Missouri. I care about.
I will sit at people's kitchen tables, and just give me a cup of coffee. That's all I want.
Right.
That's what but you sit down with somebody. I don't want to eat a meal. Just let me sit at your kitchen table.
Yeah.
And and I'll say,
She's not Biden. She's not going to go to a black family with chicken.
but
Did you see what he did?
No, I did not see
but
what
I
he
would
did.
say we know
Joe.
what the problems are. What would you do to solve this? How would you solve this?
And me personally, I mean, if I was
for
going,
whatever issue there
if
was,
I was going to tell you from my point of view, I mean, as just a Missouri citizen, I feel like, okay, it's like a giant horse, and it's already way too big to be defeated. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that in the
that's
sense
saying
that.
you're too small of a man. to
No,
be
no, no, no,
honored.
no, no, no. I'm not saying. I'm not scared of.
It's not.
I'm
too
not scared
big.
of what they can do. I'm saying that when you have so many people that are so well off and they have so many different connections with different, when you're tied in with so many different communities within Missouri, you don't have you don't have to do anything. Those people have already got to know you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so, and that's where I'm like, that's why and that's really why the reason why I got you guys here today, because I really wanted to get to know you guys. I really wanted to know what's your guys' intentions. What's the intentions for, Dr. Janice and Dr. Philip? I want to know.
Let's start solving problems.
Solve the
Let's
problems.
Let's
Really
start solving
solving
problems. Let's stop creating problems.
Yeah.
Let's stop beating around the bushes.
Stop
and
beating
actually
around the
solve an
bush.
answer.
Everybody
Get the
knows
answer.
I-70
That's it.
needs to be widened. Widen the thing.
Right.
Our roads are trash.
Why?
Yeah,
you know
we
what?
actually,
Why
I think
don't
we're
we all
number
know
3.
this?
We're number 3 worst roads in the
Worst.
United States.
Yeah.
We're
Why?
number 3 worst
Yeah.
roads.
Our
We have the worst.
transportation
Yeah.
system's better under the Democrats, and that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So we can do better as we've got a unit. Right now, the Republican Party has absolute control of the General Assembly.
But they're wasting it.
Is it Republicans?
Yeah.
Okay, so your guys,
Republican
so
Party.
your party has control of everything
Yeah,
right
but
now.
they
Yeah,
can't
and they're
seem to get
wasting.
anything
They
done.
can't get anything
Oh.
But
done.
they're the ones that want to be the governor.
Right, they're the ones. Yeah.
There are 3 guys in there that are currently up in Jeff City right now. This is something that I want all of Missouri voters to really think about when you're weighing it between my mom, Dr. Janice Cotrone, and Jay Ashcroft, Mike Kehoe, and Bill Eigel. Senator Bill Eigel is a current incumbent senator, but can't do anything, and he's the ringleader of the Freedom Caucus, the caucus that's wasting your taxpayer dollars.
In
Okay.
He wants to be
filibustering.
governor over
Yeah.
there. Then you've got Jay Ashcroft, current Secretary of State. What have you done for us, though?
Right.
And you want to be governor.
And
So
I think that would be awesome to have
You
the
got
first female
swamp.
governor.
You
to
guys
be
are
honest,
going against 3 swamp members.
Moms
and
care.
Those 3 members
isn't
are
also the
fighting.
first black lieutenant governor?
Yeah, I'll be the
So
first black
we'll have
lieutenant.
the first
Yeah.
female governor, and we
Yeah.
have the first black lieutenant governor.
Yeah, trying to
And
make history.
they're gonna
It's our
make
turn.
history.
This
They're
is my
gonna make
message to
history.
St. Louis and Kansas City. It's our turn. You don't have to worry about, will we have policies that are going to help us? You don't have to worry about if Dr. Janice Cotrone is going to help the inner city.
Yeah.
She went to Haiti. She went to Haiti and helped them. St.
30
Louis,
years.
Kansas City, you guys are in good hands. I can promise you, Jay Ashcroft could care less. He hardly even shakes
If
people of color's
if
hands.
you can't keep a promise, don't make it.
Yeah.
Don't even make it, because all you're doing, don't even make it. You know, that just minimizes somebody. It gives false hope.
Yeah.
I would never go into a patient's room and give them false hope.
Yeah.
I would never do that. Why would I do that on a campaign trail or whatever this is supposed to be?
Yeah.
No, you're meeting people across the state, and they're wanting to know, how are you going to make it better? You know how we're going to make it?
Yeah,
I'm not
what's-
gonna make
what's
it
your
better.
actually-
We're going to
yeah.
make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to
Stimmy.
make it better. You know why?
Stimmy.
Because to me, there isn't such a thing as a little person.
You guys
I've
are gonna
heard so
you
many
guys are gonna
people
pass
that
a
say,
stimulus?
Don't forget the little people. Don't
Yeah.
forget us. Don't forget the little people.
Sometimes
There's
I
no
feel
such-
like that.
There's no such thing as little
Gotta
people.
remember everyone. We're
There's
gonna.
no such thing as little people.
I feel like
Every
that-
single
I
person is important.
I feel like
to
it's
me.
it's easy to get yourself in that mindset though when you're like when you go, after you get out of high school, most people don't have very many friends. Most people just go home and they either they find a girl or they're by themselves for the rest of their life, and
Right.
until they have kids or whatever else happens. But I feel like a lot of people you get in that mindset of being so like I'm so singled out and I'm so tiny that because I'm by myself. But I do understand what you guys are saying to make people feel big and that you guys are important. The Missourians are important.
When's the last time somebody says to our students in school, "You matter"? How
Not a
many
whole
times
lot.
they hear it at home? How often did you hear
Hardly.
that? You matter. You're important. I tell my students that I teach.
I think
I tell
once
my
my
students
dad
that all
left,
the time.
It was
You have no idea how valuable you really are.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is what I see.
tears.
Yeah, because they don't hear that. They
Yeah.
don't hear that.
A
Missouri's
lot of
the
people
same
also don't know
way.
how important they are.
They
and,
have no
and
idea
they don't
because
even
they've
know the
not even-
willpower that they have behind them. I think that they think, once you get to a certain point, you just give up. But if those people could get up the next day and keep pushing, I promise those will be the strongest people that ever walk this.
Well, that's
that
what
walk.
that's what nurses do. That's what nurses do. is
Yeah.
Empowerment.
They keep working with people, even if that person is going to lose the fight to life.
Right,
You can at least lose the fight with dignity,
right.
and
And to have people
That's what-
around you
and
who
that-
you, who
but-
you
and
know
then-
actually care. It's
and
a
you-
that's a
that's
thing by
true.
itself. Just to have somebody around who cares. Just to have somebody say, "Hey, like you said, you matter," or
You
"Hey,
matter.
you're doing the right things. You make me happy.
that's
You
right.
you know you're an awesome person." And
I am not a politician. I will never be a politician.
right. And that's what I was wondering too. I was like, you guys are going into a very politician game, and that's what another reason why I was talking with Philip. By ourselves, we were kind of having a convo, and I was like, I'm like, you guys are not like the average politicians. You guys are not even politicians at all, really. And so I'm like, but I feel like that's kind of what Missouri needs in a real sense. We need people who are actually real people from our state. I don't want.
That's right.
I'm tired of having people who, like I said, their pockets are filled up with other people's money, and that's the people whispering in their ear to tell them what we need to hear.
No,
And
it-
so,
it's
and I
wrong.
know for a fact, I've been knowing about you guys. You guys are. I know that you guys are good. I know that you guys are good. So that's another thing that I think about inside of my head. I'm like, I don't like. That's not something that I even would even question. That's not even something I would question to be like, oh, they're taking money from other people, or they want money out of other people's pockets, or you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
We're actually the
extortion.
lowest. MEC shows that we are one of the lowest ones on the reporting, and the reason why is because we're not going out there like Donald Trump said. Mr. President, appreciate you, but we don't want all their money.
yeah, and it's
We
not
don't want
about
the donors and special interest groups, because what happens is that when the donors and special interest groups come and they'll say,
Oh, they're
Dr.
buying
Janice,
you."
here's some
Yeah.
money for
I
the
don't wanna be
campaign.
bought.
Yeah.
We're not going to get bought by them.
Yeah,
We
then
can
that's
do it on
exactly
our
what they
own.
I don't wanna
want.
be
They want
bought.
to. They
We
want to
don't need
buy.
that money.
Yeah, I
They
don't-
want to
I
be able to
don't
buy
want- I
ideas.
don't want to be bought.
That's
Yeah.
really what you are.
Yeah.
You're yeah.
We don't
And a
need-
lot of the people that are in our in the Senate for Missouri, all in the House, everybody like that. All these people are bought people.
Look at the average
It's a weird thing, and I've noticed it and it's like this for every state. It's not just Missouri.
But
I
how
mean,
much is being accomplished?
nothing.
How much is being
nothing.
accomplished? Yeah.
They're worried about
That's shame. That's shameful.
how's my yacht doing? How's my yacht doing in Bahamas? And
Here-
how's my house in
here's the question
West
for
Virginia
Missourians.
and my house in
Here's the
Ohio?
questions for Missourians, okay? When you look at my mom, look at your first female candidate. That's someone that you can call at any time. Now, when you go and look up the other candidates, Jay Ashcroft, he's the current Secretary of State of the state of Missouri.
Yeah.
Can you call him right now?
No.
No.
So
No.
he's out campaigning right now, trying to convince everyone that he cares, but you can't reach him right now. So what's to say that you're going to care about us then? When we know right now you're lying because your campaign director wrote a speech that told you to lie to everybody and convince everyone that you're the right pick for governor,
this
Yeah.
right? So this is
doesn't work
it
like
doesn't
that.
work like that.
Well, and
So
that's
is
it. Should
Keo.
be
He's
the
doing
vote.
the exact same
It should
thing.
be the people's vote.
Why can't we reach him?
Yeah.
We should
can't-
be the
Well,
ones.
well, it should be, because if
Ashcroft
this is
turned down a Feed Missouri. I don't even like the guy. Go ahead.
if this is of the people, by the people, for the people, where are the people?
Right.
Yeah.
Who is it of, by, and for?
For themselves. It's
Well,
all
he's
selfish.
all- he's all-
That's
for himself.
wrong. That's
Kinda
just wrong.
crazy.
We asked Ashcroft if he wanted to participate in Feed Missouri. To Feed Missouri.
Right,
Keo
just to
is
try
wrong.
and get more people, get
I
more
was like, yeah,
candidates, and
yeah.
everyone involved.
He
yeah.
said no.
He said no.
He said no. I don't want to get involved in assisting Missourians.
I was actually gonna
Secretary of
ask.
State.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask about Feed Missouri. What is that? If you could elaborate more on that.
Yeah. So it I have to give the credit to where the credit's due. It was her brilliant thinking, and my mom said,
Don't want people to go to bed hungry.
we're not
Too many
exactly.
people go to bed hungry.
I've been doing this all my life.
I did that
I've
so
been a
many
missionary.
times, from
I'm not gonna let
15
people
to
go to
probably 2021. I went through rough times where I didn't have a place to sleep. I'd be sleeping at we have a park on 26th, and it has a McDonald's in front of it. I slept at that thing for 3 months. I slept in the park because I just didn't have anything. Don't get me wrong. I had like my mom and different people that coming through and helping, trying to help me out to, but that there was you don't have anything to eat. You don't have. I didn't. You don't even have a warm place to sleep.
Yeah.
Feed Missouri's whole idea is to collect non-perishable goods, collect
And
clothing for
Yeah.
moms, diapers, wipes, just all that.
To be able to help on both sides, and that's another thing I was wondering
Free.
is
all
you,
free. Just come on in, pick
come
it
in,
up.
pick it up.
There's forms,
Awesome.
there's all that. It's all free.
Awesome.
Just come and get it and go, because that's something that the state needs help.
Yeah.
And you got an actual mission. You don't have a politician. You have a missionary.
A mom.
A mom that cares about you.
Awesome.
So you kind of have Kay Ivey here in Missouri. If you guys know who Kay Ivey is, great governor of Alabama.
It makes me wonder why he wouldn't be a part of that if he really cared about Missouri.
Thank you. That was the question that, I asked my campaign director. I said, would you mind giving him a call, because he's got
a good connection.
And
Good
so
connection.
he's like, yeah, let's see what could happen. And some might say, well, he's running for governor, your mom's running for governor, why would you go to Jay? Well, the reason why I asked him was because perhaps he might want to
Collaborate.
Collaborate.
Yeah.
In an election time, it's not that serious. If you're really running for election for governor, care about the people. Work across the aisle. Who cares if the other person's running against you? Show
Right.
you
You have to
care.
work
Right.
together. You have to
Just
work
work
together,
together.
anyway.
You're
Yeah.
trying to work
Right.
together anyways, right?
You have
Yeah.
to work, and I don't care
He said no.
if they're donkeys or elephants. It doesn't matter to me.
He'd rather go out and just go say
Identify the
something and
problem,
rehearse
fix it.
Right.
Let's
than to
just
go
work together.
do something. I thought we were in the Show Me State.
Right.
Yeah.
Show me
This
something.
is Show Me
yeah.
State, right?
Yeah, show
So
me
why
something.
can't any
And
of the candidates show anybody?
So you guys are gonna actually write bills. You guys are gonna actually
Oh.
be in that. You guys are gonna be head front
Well-
to that sort of stuff.
The lieutenant governor is over the Senate.
Okay.
I'm gonna
So
grab that by
he'll
the
take
horns.
these bills after they're voted on, bring them to me for signature, and then they're signed into law.
Oh, okay.
So-
So that'll be a pretty cool little thing that you guys can do there, where you kind of eliminate the governor being against you in a sense. If you were the lieutenant governor, I don't think that
We'll work
happens,
together.
but
Well, we'll
Work
get stuff done
together.
that way.
Yeah.
You get things done. There are dozens and over 100 bills right now that are waiting for the governor to sign. Well, how come they can't?
There are
go to-
clemencies that are
How
ignored.
come they can't get to the governor's desk? What's stopping those bills? Well, there's a lieutenant governor, but they're held up in committee. That's his job.
Yeah.
That's going to be his job to get these things out of committee,
yeah.
get them voted on, and I'll sign them, and then you move on to the next thing. Why
Yeah.
are they stuck?
I think, if I'm being honest with you, I think a lot of it comes down to money. I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think a lot of it is
Special
the more
interest.
time
They
you
won't get out of
spend.
committee because
Well,
of the
and is it kind of like a normal job when you work for the Senate and stuff? Do you just do you clock in? Do you clock out?
yeah. Well,
No, you don't clock in and clock out.
It's a
but
salary.
It's a salary.
Okay, see,
You're
that's what I was
but
wondering.
Who's paying your salary?
Us,
American
let's say
people.
the American people. Yeah,
So-
it's just tax
so
money.
Shouldn't there be something to show for it?
Yeah, there
But
should be.
I want to go back. I want to go to a point that there's a number of years ago, somebody made a list of a whole lot of professions a number of years ago, and what was the most trustworthy profession. And there's politicians are on there, there's pastors that are on there, there's small business owners, there's all kinds of professions, over 50. And year after year after year, you know who comes out as the most trusted profession? Nurses.
Yes.
A nurse comes out. People talk to nurses all the time. And nurses are used to working with people, and they're used to listening.
Yeah.
They're used to working with a team of people. That's why I think I will do well as a governor, because I'm used to working with people, all different kinds of people. But nursing has come out year after year as the most trusted profession.
Yeah, and I think you have to
Except-
be. You have to be.
You have to be in
Yeah.
the year of 9/11 in 2001. It was a tragic year, a horrible
Yeah,
year for
yes.
this country, and a
Yes.
9/11 was
lot
a
of
terrible
tears
thing that
and
happened.
A lot of people that were lost, thousands of lives that were lost, and it was first responders that were the most
Yeah.
trusted that year. But nursing was right underneath of it,
Yeah.
and nursing has been right up there at the top. So that's what I bring to the table,
Right.
is somebody that you can trust, somebody's
Right.
going to listen to you,
Yeah.
somebody's
Yeah.
going to care,
An actual person.
a real person.
Person,
This morning
yeah.
I have coffee at a little place in our town, Mansfield. And this morning I sat and I talked with a young mother, 37 years old, and she told me her story, tears running down her face. And pretty soon here comes a friend that I've known for a couple of years. She's junior in high school, 16-year-old junior in high school.
Yeah.
So she comes in, hug her, talk to her, listen to her. Then there's a 22-year-old girl that comes in, good friend of mine too. You know, so I have this 16-year-old, this 22-year-old, this 37-year-old, and all of them relate to me.
Yeah.
And I'm older than all three of them. But I listen to them, and I care about them. And they know that, and I know that. That's how you get things done.
Right. To actually have, like I said, real people.
Yeah.
People.
They're real people.
Yeah,
They're
real people.
And they have victories, and they have...
Well, and that's another
Flip
thing too.
flops
Is like I don't ever even think in my whole life that I would ever be able to get the governor, or future governor or lieutenant governor or future lieutenant governor. I don't think inside of my head when I envisioned starting this podcast,
not?
Because inside of my head I'm like, I just feel like why would they talk to me? Like why like in my head I'm like they would rather talk to a radio show host over the phone than have a
Not this
face.
one.
Well, I know, and that's another thing too. Is like I love that you guys came face to face. People can see your reaction.
I'll
People,
hug you too. I like to
yeah,
do that too.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just like I noticed that a lot of them. It's like they wouldn't even give me the time of day. A
And
real
that's wrong.
politician would never give a normal regular citizen from Missouri the time of day. They never would.
But I'm not a politician, and I'm
Yeah.
proud to say that.
Yeah.
I am a nurse, and Missouri will be my patient.
Hey,
And-
that's what
and
I
I'm a
like to hear.
mom. And Missourians will be my kids,
Right.
or like my parents or my grandparents or people that you respect.
Yeah.
These folks that have raised their children and raised their grandchildren, and they've worked hard all their lives. They have my respect. People that are going through some really hard times, they have my heart. And let's work together. I'm
That's-
not naive enough to think that you can swoop in and solve all the problems. No, there are a lot of issues
Yeah.
and a lot of choices that are wrong choices. And if you make your bed, you lay in it.
Yeah.
And you make your wrong choice, but that doesn't mean you have to stay in it.
And that's
Lay
not
in
the
but
end
you
of
have
it
to
either.
stay in it.
Yeah. That's another thing too is you don't have to stay in it. Yeah.
No.
You don't have to
That's
a lot of
where the
people
system wants to keep you.
Yeah, and also
That's
like I
not
said,
right.
they keep it very single-minded. Another thing is like I worry, like I was telling you guys earlier. A lot of people think like me, I, and what's best for like just me or what's gonna help my situation instead of what could I do as a whole to make like with the music stuff. Like for an instance, I'll give you guys like for instance like. I'm doing like we're doing shows. Like I'm about to set up an 8-show lineup where we're gonna have 8 shows and set out flyers and everything like that. And I started sitting and thinking about it, and I'm like, we don't just do this music we don't just do it just to make music. I do it because there's someone out there who's gonna hear my song and go, I'm going through something today, and that's what I needed to hear. Or that's the beat I needed to hear to help me, get that energy I needed to pass that test. Or, that I'm working on I'm working on actually like creating a vibe in that sense. But I was trying to just basically get at like, it just comes down to like the people. I care about the people. I want people to be happy. I want people to come and to have a good time. And that was like for the music side of it, but I want stuff to work out. And so I get where you guys are coming from with just wanting to help Missouri out and actually like really be there for the people. It's not just I'm going to go into an office, I'm going to get paid my salary and just chill for the year.
No, and
That's it.
sometimes you will say, you want people to be happy, but life isn't like that.
Right.
Life isn't like that all the time, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Life is hard, and sometimes there isn't enough to take home, and there are too many bills, and there's too many
Yeah.
things that are going wrong, and you need a new roof, and you need this, and you need that, and the kids are crying, and
Right.
you're just completely overwhelmed. But is there anybody that can come along beside you and say, you know what, I care.
Yeah.
I care, and it matters. I went through a really hard time a year ago. I had lost my husband, his father, and life was just hard. And you're by yourself, and it's hard.
Yeah.
But people came alongside me, and they couldn't bring him back. He
Right.
died. He passed away. They couldn't bring him back.
And I'm very sorry about that.
But, thank you. But they cared.
Right.
They cared, and because people cared,
You were able to get through
it
it
keeps you going.
in a sense.
It keeps you going when you feel like you've lost everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And I don't pretend to. I can't solve. I have no magic wand.
Right. By
Life
no
doesn't
means.
do
Yeah.
that. But you know what? I care about somebody.
Right. And I can tell that you do. I can tell from the
I
passion
do.
in your voice and the your face. I can just tell that you guys actually, like I said, you guys are genuine in the sense that you guys really do want to change Missouri and you guys want to make this a better place. And I feel like I said, it's not money hungry stuff, and it's not
About money.
it's not politician type stuff. It's not. They're real people trying to do real things to really help real Missourians. And so I like
Because
that.
real
I like,
Missourians-
yeah.
real Missourians matter.
You know, the
Missouri's
thing.
a good state.
You know, the thing I was wondering about is this is a question for Philip. Okay, so we were getting into like the felony thing, and I just wanted to go. I'm just want to try and touch base with you real quick, just to let the people know that what they're seeing, if they do see anything, is not the case. You know.
No. it's
Okay.
not. And I will start by saying I won't go too much into it, but the state has gotten to the bottom of it,
Yes.
and they I think things are going to go the way that we're wanting. I will just say this though. This is part of one of the fixes that we want to make in this state, because many fathers are getting charges put on them with a vindictive child's mother, baby mom, that gets angry and decides to lie instead of be honest.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
as I said, the state has gotten to the bottom of it, but
Yeah, and you said,
it
but
costs.
before the actual
costs.
election, it's going to be actually cleared off of
Yes,
CaseNet, so it won't even
Yeah.
be a real.
It'll be
Like,
taken care of.
yeah,
prior to that. But,
and
but here's my thing. How many dads out there, how many fathers are out there that are right now in a beef with your baby mom?
Too many to count.
I could. Yeah, it's literally too. It's
so-
literally so.
So here's my question for the
the
listeners.
number is massive.
I want to ask the listeners a question. This is for the men. Okay, women, if you guys are listening, if you guys could feel a certain way, but just listen for a minute. For the men, here's a hypothetical situation. If you got called over to your child's mother's house, and she asked you to pick up your child, and there was an absolute total mess in the house, and you left, filed a DFS report, because mind you, to the listeners, let's assume that you have filed for custody of your child.
Yeah.
You file a report, so when your child's mother pulls up, she sees the police snooping around. I'm giving you guys the exact situation that happened to me. So what does she do? Instead of being honest with them and say, hey,
Yeah.
I told him to come up here,
I told him to come and do this. Yeah.
get my kid. He saw a mess. He didn't know what was going on, so he did what
Any normal person would
any
do.
normal dad
person would do.
would. That would be what you guys would do.
Any baby
Yeah.
daddy,
Any dad,
literally baby
you see
daddy
something
that
you don't know, you're
even
gonna react.
even
right?
with the baby mama there with the baby, I've seen baby daddies literally go
this?
from right inside
I didn't
to
know what this
walking
was on
outside
the
to calling the
Right.
CPS,
Yeah,
and
it's
so
on,
it's
it's online. It's right
right.
there. So since
Yeah.
I didn't know, what did she do? Now, women, if you guys are listening, if you can relate, it's just say, you know what, I can relate. If your baby daddy called CPS on you, you'd be upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to sit here and knock her. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, why'd you get mad?" Of course.
any normal person would have got mad because
Right,
now
any
you got the
normal person,
laws messing with
got
you. Yeah.
CPS.
Yeah.
Her mistake, and this is where the state figured it out. Her mistake was, you lied on him.
Right.
You
Right.
shouldn't have. You
the
shouldn't have said
polygraph
he
showed.
broke in and all that. Girl, you told
Yeah,
him
and
to
that's
come
the
get the
that's the part that I
lied.
I was looking into it myself, and I started going through, and I was reading the description, and then I talked to you, and then I listened to another radio show that you had did, and I just kind of like, inside of my head, I'm like, all right, if he did it or he was in trouble for it, wouldn't they have him locked up? They would, especially for the
state does
charges.
better.
The charges that they have against you
The state
sound
does better.
fictitious. I've never seen you act in this
It's-
manner.
It's because she lied. What she did is she lied so much. Just a nasty woman, my baby mom. She lied so much, right? And she was coming with all this stuff. And the prosecutor's been doing this for years, right?
Yes.
He's not. An
And I was
idiot.
gonna say also,
He's sitting here going,
They can see through.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even.
"You sound vindictive. You don't. This doesn't sound real."
Yeah, they do it. They deal with that every single day,
Every
so they can
single
catch
day.
a lie.
You know, I
pretty
also
easily.
wanted to get this point
Really
across
fast.
too. Like, you know, I think a lot of the dads out there will get this for the sake of like you're always gonna have love for your baby mama because that's who has your baby. Like you had a baby with them, you're gonna love them. In a weird, it's not the same type of love as like when you first meet somebody or you're married or this type of love. It's a love that's we're bonded by a kid, so it's how it is. It's how it is. So I feel like I get where she's coming from, but I also get where you're coming from.
Well, we're gonna have some stiff ramifications for that. Once
yes,
we get elected,
and then
you
like
can't lie on people.
and that's another thing too is that
them.
you cannot lie on the record, especially when you're making a police report.
No, the state's gonna get her.
Well, it's gonna reverse. It's gonna reverse.
And I can say right now with confidence on the show, she's got it coming. The state's they're talking with my attorneys. You cannot lie to a prosecutor to embellish a story to make. So that let someone else get in trouble. Keep the kid. That's why she did it.
Yeah.
That's why she lied. She was her hope. Her hope was I can say something outlandish and hopefully I can just put him under the jail.
Well, and the thing I didn't understand is the other baby daddy was like trying to join in on like trying to bash you, and I'm like, isn't he facing a case too? Because I went and started looking up her other baby daddies and her and stuff too, and I'm like, how does that make any sense? I'm like, okay, so. Okay, just because you're friends with him at the time? Well, just because you're friends with him this week? You're friends with him this week, so now it's okay?
Thank you. Talk to him.
So I just didn't get that. I just didn't get the concept.
They asked the state, too. They said, we want you guys to pay attention. Have you guys looked into this?
Right.
The same baby dad that's her best friend now.
Yeah.
She made a report on him and said that she found child pornography on his laptop.
Oh, my God.
Child pornography.
Right.
So that's a report. So my attorney's like, wait a minute. You're claiming this is the same girl.
Claiming the same.
When she gets mad, this is what she does.
Yeah, she finds new stuff to try and
just say something and lie on you, and then just try to get you.
Well, and the crazier part is that the police the police in our state are like that.
That you made the report on.
Yeah.
And I get where they're.
I get him to hold my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pay attention. Yeah. Pay attention, state.
Fixing the system, you have to.
I think there is a huge problem with the.
There is a problem.
It feels like with the lying and stuff.
Well, and
if you lie to law enforcement, you should be arrested right on the spot.
Oh, she's got it coming because you can't say those. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's slander.
Yeah, slander, all that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you could turn around and you guys could sue. Yeah, defamation of character. Yeah, especially when you're fighting.
So big, they
have
no idea.
Lots of charges.
You guys are fighting for also like such big roles for the state of Missouri, and so that's why I wanted to ask you. I'd previously looked into my just to see myself because I tried looking up on Dr.Janice too, and I just I was getting more information about Philip on certain things where I was like, I think that she's more okay, not saying older, but I'm saying that you got like. You're more mature in the sense that you have everything together. You have that you're trying to do it. And Philip is on his way to doing that. He's in the middle. There's a middle stage. You don't know how to do stuff perfect the first time. You're never going to know how to. And so I understand it and it makes sense to me. And that's why, like I said, I just was bringing up that I just wanted to try and get that.
I will say this to close this. My mom, I got to say, she did warn me on
I'm sorry. Yeah.
On the alleged victim, she told me this girl seems like bad news, and
I told you. As a matter of fact, I met at an Airbnb with Philip.
Get this, guys.
To record some music.
All you listeners, the one of the hosts knows who we're talking about. So it's not just me talking.
But moms love their kids, and they've got a sixth
sense. She's a nasty.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about it is that
care about your kids. Say, honey.
Yeah, if she's, and that's the other thing too is if I met at an Airbnb with you, like when you first were getting with her, and I had heard things about her. Like I said, I don't know her personally. I never hung out with her more than when I hung out with Philip at that Airbnb. But I do know that I'd heard things about her. And so when I seen her there with Philip, I was like, hey, man, like, I'm just letting you know, like, I've heard this is bad news. That, like, just look out for yourself. Not, like, trying to diss on nobody. And you can all, no disrespect to nobody. I just was like, I would rather say something to somebody and save them a headache over some stuff that could happen. Right. But I get how it goes when, and also it's really easy to fall, when you fall over head over heels for somebody, it's really easy to get yourself into a dumb predicament really fast. Just off being upset. Yeah.
Well, and the thing with her is that, like the saying goes, for the streets. It wasn't even head over heels.
Right.
It was just, nah, you for the streets. So I was just like, nah, I'm trying to.
Right. No.
But
I get you.
What it boils down to is, we want to fix this archaic system. You
Yeah.
know, it shouldn't have taken.
And that's another thing too that I wanted to say to
so
the
long
people. That's a thing that I wanted to say to my
this out.
viewers is like, you know, look past the felonies, look past the dumb stuff. Look, like you're
It's baby mama
That's
drama.
right.
That
you
has
should be
nothing to do
adult
with
enough.
that.
Drama, then.
I mean, if you're adult enough, you should be able to look at the situation and you can read through. It doesn't,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
smart
People
or
lie.
dumb. You can
People
still
lie.
know.
Say
They
this.
they need to pay for what they.
Yeah.
how-
Oh, she's
Yeah.
gonna pay for what she did.
Yeah.
Here's the question that I asked the viewers. Okay, are you listeners and viewers? And this isn't to call anyone out. This is just to call the facts.
Right.
This is just facts. Donald Trump. Do you know how many felonies he's facing?
I think
So
96.
About 96, 93, something like
Is
that.
it 96? It's
Now,
93, something like that.
He's
The
the
90s.
front runner, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're willing to overlook his, and we know that it's just junk from the left, why? I'm asking Missouri to do the exact same thing with me, because it's just junk from the left. This is literally one of the most bigoted, hateful women. I have one problem, is that's just her that's getting resolved.
Right.
So Missouri, this has nothing to do with how I'm going to govern the state. This has
Right.
nothing to
And
do
that's
with
another
what
thing that I
I'm
wanted to
gonna
do. That's what I was trying to do is like
Correct.
divert them into, you know, let people know that you guys, that it's not about, it shouldn't matter about that. It should matter about how you're moving now and what you're trying to do now. It doesn't matter about what happened in the past. And I mean, like I said, the past does matter, but at the same time, like you got to be able
Especially
to move
from
forward.
one of the
and-
most least
Yeah.
reputable women in
comes-
the entire state.
But there's another issue. There's another issue, and you have
Yeah.
a young black man,
Yeah.
Talk to
and
him.
it's real easy to point a finger at a young black man
Yeah.
and say, Mm-mm.
And
Anybody-
especially
we're not
someone
gonna let- we're not gonna
who
let
came
you
here.
That,
You know, that's another
Yeah,
thing that I
that's
know.
right.
You know, we're all, even us, we're all not from here.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like
I'm
we're
not.
not. This is, and so that's why I don't get the bigoted hatefulness side of it for color or any of that, because I love everyone for who
no, it's
you are
just a
inside.
level of skin.
It's
a
about-
level,
but why
it's
is
a
it-
level that's like
Yeah.
third level
It
down.
shouldn't
but
be that way
it's
in America.
crazy.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you're guilty,
Right.
right? Trump's not guilty, right?
Yeah.
He's
The-
never
the
from it.
Haitian-
Why am I guilty?
The Haitian people
I
have
didn't do anything.
The Haitian people have a saying. I'm going to say this in Creole. Si gen aucun haïtien capitaine de m'abdou ça, tout sang coule rouge. Vous connaissez ça? Tout sang coule rouge. Donc, il n'est pas important qui coule pour ailler. Tout sang coule rouge. If there's any Haitians that are listening, I'm going to say a Haitian
That's awesome.
proverb, and that is, all blood runs red. And they know that. All blood runs
Runs
red.
red. Yep. It don't
And
matter
so-
about the color. It's
No,
about yeah.
I would tell my kids, this is my son.
Right.
His brother is my son.
Right.
Yeah.
And do we look alike? No. I didn't look like my mom
Right.
either.
Yeah.
I didn't really look at my dad, but we have a cat that's had a whole slew of kittens.
Yeah, and that's another
They-
thing I was going to ask
you
you
know,
guys. That
there
how,
are-
when did you actually run when did you come across Philip, or when did you?
1998. October
1998. That's
He
the year I was
three-
born. Whoop,
He
whoop.
was little over 3 years old. But I don't care what color my kids are. These
Right,
are my kids.
right. You
These
took
are
them
my
in and
kids.
you showed them
I
love.
don't care how
It's
they
love up
come
here.
to you, whether it comes to you through natural birth, whether it comes to you through adoption, whether it comes to you. I don't do
Randomly
no,
at your
you're
door?
Adopted.
Yeah.
You're foster. No,
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't do step.
Yeah.
I don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because
You're-
you make someone feel less.
Yeah, you don't do that.
You're not a part
You
of
don't
my.
have
You're not a
stepson,
part of
you
my
have a
system.
son.
Right.
You don't have a foster son. You have a son.
That's your son. Yeah.
that is my.
That's
son.
my kid. As much
That's
as
right.
as much.
With,
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
With my baby, that you change that many diapers, that child's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was 3.5. 3.5-year-olds are handfuls.
Oh,
they have
yeah.
a lot of energy, and they have.
Oh,
their
this
own-
guy. Yeah, I bet so.
and they have. They're strong-willed. They're curious. They're
Right.
inquisitive. They're supposed to be like that.
Mhm.
And you're supposed to be the parent that guides them and keeps them safe and helps them grow up and becomes whatever they're supposed to become.
Right.
Wears you out in the meantime, but that's what it's supposed to
Yeah. Well, and
That's
also.
what it's supposed to be like
Yeah.
that, you know?
And then, and so, did you pick him up on a mission trip in Haiti?
No, we lived in Haiti. My
Oh, you
husband
lived
and I-
at Haiti at
we
the
lived
time.
there.
Okay.
My husband
Okay.
and I lived there, and
No, I
he,
climbed into the back of the truck.
he
You
was-
opened up the suitcase.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just there.
He was 3.5. His brother was 6 weeks old, and
Yeah.
and so we
Haiti
we
could do that.
met this family on a Tuesday, and brought the children home the following Monday.
Yeah.
Went through the adoption process, but we lived in the country, so we had the children with us right 6 days later, and then went through all the legal steps of satisfying two governments and
Yeah. Trying to get it to where he
bringing
was.
them here.
So you're a full U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Okay,
He's
awesome.
been a full
That's-
U.S. citizen. He
Since he
got
was
his
3?
citizenship when he was 6.
Oh, boy,
6.
they would have tried to get rid of me a long time ago. They was like, send him home. Matter of fact,
He was 6 when he became citizen. And his brother was 2.5.
Oh, okay. And so is that your real brother in Haiti?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know you had a brother for real.
Biological siblings.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and do you have any kids yourself?
No.
No,
Yes,
okay.
I do. I have these kids.
Well, yeah.
course.
Well, no, I meant like
No.
biological, and I mean biological,
No,
but you get
this-
what I'm saying.
I have these. That's my son.
Yes, okay, I understand. No, I was just
Does it
at.
look alike?
Yeah, you do. You guys got the same nose.
Same smile too. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys do have good smiles though.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I just was, I'm happy about this.
let me say,
every
this.
every person is valuable,
right,
You gotta
and
put
it doesn't matter that they're not blood. I
right.
mean, all blood runs red, so who cares?
And that obviously lets me know right then and there that you care about you would care about every Missourian once you get into that government position. It's not about just one specific person or pleasing these certain type of people. It's about pleasing everybody, whether you're Democratic, whether you're Republican, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're disabled, or whether you're tall, skinny, short, or
Well, that's true. When my husband and I lived in,
Well, I feel like that's an issue that I have, like thinking about government. I think that they look at us and they go like, oh, they're just,
they don't care.
Yeah, and
Once
they
every
also
4
know that
years,
we're,
that's it.
and I feel like they also know that we're kind of oblivious to government stuff. Like the younger youth, I would say 25 and below, a lot of them haven't paid attention
Yeah.
to.
We were just talking about that.
talk
on the
to
way
me
out.
about education.
I
Is that
talked
one of
to
your
you about-
questions?
Let me check actually.
Yeah,
Talk to me about education. Whoa, that's a big one with me.
yeah, I can tell.
Well, as soon as we,
I homeschooled my kids. You know why I homeschooled
you
them?
can tell I'm homeschooled.
Yeah,
I homeschooled them because I thought, I'm not going to trust them to a broken system. These are my
Right.
children.
right.
This is my son.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, and you were
his
right for that
brother.
because the
And
school
I'm not-
system is
I
broken.
am
Yeah.
not going to trust them
Shattered.
to a system
Kids
that's
are-
broken. I can do a better job.
Well, and
myself.
also if you think about it, a lot of the teachers are getting, even if you're so passionate and you love the students, you love the
There's a
job,
system.
Yeah.
you also have to be able to survive. You have to be able to live. You have to be
System
able to
has to
pay
be-
your bills. You have to be able, and I've noticed a lot of, even when I was in school, I felt bad for my teachers, because I would be like, you don't have this, or you're not able to do this, or like in my head, I thought teachers were at this like way higher level. Like they were making I thought they were making $500,000 a year. I thought they were, you know what I'm saying? I thought they were King Kong for all, for all I thought in my head.
That's
And
something
so
we're going to do is increase the pay for the teachers of Missouri, and another thing is we're going to increase the pay for the correctional officers.
Yeah.
We've got to fix the pay scale here. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
no, you're completely fine. I was
Gotta
just,
fix that.
yeah, it's when it comes to like hot button issues like that, a lot of the times people
Our
want to,
veterans.
people want to avoid it, and they don't want to, and it kind of sounds
Well,
like
you
to me,
ignore it, and
Yeah.
so it's going to degenerate. It's going to get worse.
yeah, it sounds like you
ignore a
guys are
problem,
going
it's
head
going-
on though.
It's going to get worse.
To
No.
me, it sounds like you guys are going head
Find
on
the problem. Why are
right at the train.
high school graduates so low in their
Yeah.
ability to function in life?
Right.
Why have they not gained the skills that they're supposed to have in life? Because
Can I be honest with you though?
I'd love for you to be honest.
I think that it's the culture. I think that it's our movies, it's our music, it's the how we talk, it's how we walk, it's how we
Okay.
who we go around, what we're trying to do, the stuff that you're trying to be involved in. Because every person's different. But in the same token of saying that, people are all doing the same things. So,
Yeah, and that's true.
and so that's why I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you have to be able to hit all those groups and be able to hit what's the actual topic, what's the issue. Because I could have 7 different groups of people, and they could all be on different things or be doing different things. And so, like, and that's the part about like the government system, like why I feel like we're kind of small in that sense, is because a lot of them don't they look past the actual citizens themselves. And so
Well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong, because that's telling you that you don't matter.
Yeah.
And again, the little, and I'm not saying you're little people, but the average ordinary person, people will tell me, they'll say, well, when you get to Jefferson City, don't forget the little people.
Right.
And I said,
You're
who
not-
are the
yeah,
little people?
we're all
Who are you
equal.
talking about? Are you talking about babies?
Right.
They're little. You're talking about toddlers? They're little. No, us. But I don't see you as little. I see you the same as me.
Right. You guys are still
I
humans
see you
too,
the same
still
as
people.
me.
Yeah.
You know, all blood runs red.
I understand.
But education is what are the benchmarks? Where do you expect kids to be at the end of pre-K? Where are the benchmarks of where they should be at the end of kindergarten, at the end of first grade, and we're putting so much importance on kids making them feel good that it all becomes emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the kids don't have any idea who they are, what they are, where they are. They don't have
Well,
any
and
idea
I've-
of that. And so they're trying to satisfy false dreams
Right.
and false desires. And
Right.
in the meantime, education is put in the back. So what are we learning?
Not-
What are we
yeah.
teaching kids about life?
Right.
What are we teaching kids about how to function? How do you
Not a lot of anything, and
No,
unless you
no.
learn it at your house or you learn it at somewhere else around you. But most of the time, no.
So can
the
they
school
carry-
doesn't teach you. The school just teach you ABC 1, 2, 3. They past that, it's all just kind of whatever stuff. It's all. I mean, I'm not trying to say that school is not important and that college isn't important and that doing that education
college
thing
isn't
isn't
for
important.
everybody.
But yeah, well, I mean, like in my head, I felt like school wasn't even for me. I feel like I'm the kind of person where I'm kind of like Einstein, where like I would be bored. I would be bored of the place. I'm not getting no intellectual value from this place at all.
Okay, then where do you need to be challenged, and why weren't you?
Okay, I would say that in the sense that they didn't. Okay, so like let's take it for instance, like China. They at a young age they grab the kids and they say, okay, what do you want to be? And then in their school systems, they teach you that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't teach you. They're not going to teach you, M times square equals WC plus or whatever. They're teach you exact like. Okay, so like let's say when I was 8 years old and they would have asked me, hey, what do you want to be? I would have hey, I want to be a mechanic. Then they would have immediately put me into that field with people who are doing that. So at a very young age, you would already be adapted to how to. I know how the whole thing works from front to end. I can take apart it, anything, in all of them. And so that's what I feel like. Our school system is meant to waste your time. And I'm saying the actual public school system is meant to give your parents a break to go to work, or if they're Section 8 to stay at home. And it also gives the opportunity they get a lunch, they get, you know what I'm saying? You get the opportunity to visit with your friends. It gives them social. So, I mean, it's not that it's all bad, but at the same time of saying that, like, I feel like it's just a waste of your time. I feel like it's a way for, okay, so, and that's another thing too. I hate that jobs do that. Like, if you have a high school diploma, then we'll hire you. Well, I could do the job better. I could do the job better than 50 of these people that have a high school diploma.
Yeah.
And what, they stuck out 4 more years than me, or 2 more years than me, but so that means that they're way more qualified than me?
Correct.
No, that's a general. That's a general.
well,
Anyone
the
can
same-
go get, you know what I'm saying?
The same question applies to like the other network. They
Uh-huh.
asked what are your qualifications for being governor and lieutenant governor. I don't think you need qualifications for that. The only qualification I think you need
It's to be headstrong.
to genuinely care about the state.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
your qualification.
Yeah.
People are quick to say, "Oh, but did you go to here? Did you?" But what are they doing? They're classifying and they're putting you into this caste system, and they're essentially saying, "Oh, well, you're not a Jeff City elite club member, so
Right.
you're not really qualified to
Right.
be lieutenant." That's not what that question's
I
asking.
get what you're. Okay, so when
He's
I
saying you're
heard
not a
that, that's
club
what I thought in
member.
my head. I thought he was
Yeah.
trying to
What's your
basically belittle you.
qualifications?
Okay, so what's the
No,
have you
but
read
Well,
for
what are
this, read for
I
this,
think
read?
They're
you
not
need-
doing anything right now. There are 3 people running for governor against my mom that have a track record that's trash.
I know, but I hate
But
the
they're
fact that they.
qualified. over us?
So what is the track record?
No.
It doesn't seem to me that it's the track record. It seems to me, do you have an ability to problem solve?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you administrate and can you problem solve?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's common sense. I have an acrostic.
Mm-hmm.
It's called clear sight.
Clear sight. Okay.
See where you're going.
Yeah.
And the first one is the C. CLEAR. Clear. Common sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's right at the top. Common
Right.
sense is
It's probably one of the most important things for being a
long
human.
gone.
if you do not have common sense, a lot of people, you'll find yourself in a lot of
Common sense,
messes.
and the L is for livelihood. We spend an awful lot of our time wherever it is that we work.
Yeah.
Are you happy where you work? Are you qualified where you work? Are you able to make ends meet from where you work?
Mm-hmm.
Your livelihood. E is education. A is agriculture. This is an agricultural state. I care about that. R are resources. What are, including human,
Mm-hmm.
what are our resources here in Missouri? And what are we doing to increase the value of our resources, including people?
Well, and that's why.
CLEAR.
Yeah.
SIGHT, safety and security. I back the blue.
Mhm.
I care about our veterans, and I don't think illegals should be taking over the state. He came from someplace else. Well, I did too. But
Right.
he came in legally. I sat with a girl this morning, this 37-year-old girl. She's from Honduras.
Uh-huh.
And she said, we worked so hard to get here.
Right.
And she said, it hurts when I see people come right in and get all the privileges that it took my husband and I 10 years to
right.
work for.
To get the paperwork correct and actually be
But they did
legal.
it. They did it. But,
Yeah.
but it's hard for them. But safety and security. And then you have the drugs that coming across the border. You have child trafficking. You have porn. You have all kinds of stuff that other countries are making money off of.
Right.
That affects our citizens here. SIGHT. I is infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
G, government is way too big.
Yeah.
It's way too big. H is healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And T is taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So those things I will hit. And I'm not going to make false promises. And I'm not going to say that
Right.
I have the answers to everything. But I think collectively
We can figure it out.
figure things out. People are not stupid.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
that's it.
that.
That's what I
Yeah.
what I want to do.
And I
Do
feel
have
like the biggest issue
qualifications?
right now with you running for governor is that the other three are white males and that they have money. Just like I said, people whispering in their ears.
Well-
And I feel like that's why, like, because when I went to go look you up, because I looked up Philip and I had no issues. Like, he popped up right on the ranks and I was like, well, I started looking up Janice and I'm like, well, what's going on here? Like, I'm like, well, how come? And then I started looking into it and I'm like, oh, it's because they got these like random 3 white dudes as the top runners when it should be like, I mean, it should be everybody who's a candidate should be on that list,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And then at the same time of that, like, if your target
They
group
keep you
isn't
off.
huge,
They
then
keep
you
you off.
won't be on that list. And I'm like, well, that's just
here's-
baloney, though. That's not right.
But
Yeah.
here's what it is, though.
Keep,
And this is
keep you off. on
People need to know who you are.
This is what
If you're
I
going to do
want.
something
That's
good for
right. That's why
Missouri.
I need you.
Yeah, I know. Hey, that's why I need you to.
And you.
This is what I want the listeners to remember and think about for a minute. Just I want everybody to ponder on this for a minute. There are about 6 million people in this state.
Uh-huh.
About 6 million. Why is it that only about 550 to 600,000 people vote? Now, I'll tell you, those people are the older electorate. As much as we love and need you, you're the wisdom of the state, and we need to learn from you. But this is for our young people. You are
Vote.
you're allowing a certain electorate age to decide your future, and then you're complaining about it when they're not doing anything.
And that's why we
Let
stay.
that sink in for 1 minute.
And that's why we stay strapped up
There's your
With-
voter
There
identification.
it is.
with
There
the
it
voter's
is.
card.
There it is.
He's got
I'm
his voter
25 from Missouri, and I'm voting. I'm
I
making
know,
sure
I need
I'm trying
everyone-
to make a difference in ours. And
There it
and
is.
if
There
you're
it
not
is.
if you're not gonna put
There
a
you go.
if you can't put a
They've got
dot,
'em.
then don't dot it.
There's 2
And-
voting cards, guys.
And
that's
I need
right.
all the listeners,
That's
go
right.
get your voting cards. We are the ones. We are the deciding factor this voting cycle.
Yeah.
Are we going to?
And that's the
allow
scary part with the whole
a
Biden
bunch
and
of
Trump
old
thing.
folks that don't care about you?
Yeah,
They don't care.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't.
Or are you going to
Not here personally in
Try
Missouri.
something different. That's right.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I was like thinking about like the Trump and the Biden thing, and I was like, I've always thought since Biden got into office that was like a setup. There's people that are running this man. There's people who are going, hey, you walk here,
That's
you're gonna
right.
say this.
He even says,
It's
"What are my
obvious.
marching orders?" He
That's
says
obvious.
it on TV.
How does this guy?
literally-
President.
Yeah,
It's
how is
literally like a marionette puppet. It would
Well,
just
Literally.
attached by a bunch of strings and being moved around.
And when he
Yeah.
calls the vice president
From the
Madam
Democratic Party.
President,
That's
there's
he's
something
being
wrong.
pulled
Yeah.
strings from the Democratic Party. Like, how are you going to tell me that you did a speech and then you're going to sleep? Like I've seen 4 different videos of this man literally just going
Well, there are
straight to sleep, like while
You're
talking.
standing up on a stage. There are 6 places to get off, and you just don't.
He's tired, man. Get that guy out of the office. He's tired. Get him out of the
Doesn't know where
office.
he's going.
I want Trump. I want Trump back. And
You need
the only
Donald
reason I
Trump
say
back.
this is because he's just like y'all. And the fact that he's self-made, he has his own stuff, he's doing his own stuff, he's been doing his own stuff, he's been paying his own bills, he's
doesn't care
been
what
making it
people
happen
say.
by himself. And you guys are the same exact
Well,
way.
Donald Trump and I love the man. I'm telling you, Mr. President, I love you. I love you. And big shout out to Dan Scavino. Dan, I know you're watching this. Love you, Dan. Me and Donald, we are, I would say, you know E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah.
Channing's my E. Jean Carroll. The only difference is I'm not going to have to pay $80 million. She might end up having to pay us
Yeah.
once we're all done.
Yeah.
Because what the bottom line is, we're just normal folks that decided we want to make a difference.
Right. I'm going to make this happen.
And they decided, you know what?
Yeah.
We don't. Who cares? And this is why I need all of you listeners. Go get your voter identification card, because the same way that they thought they could just put this innocent black man under the bus, they do the same thing to you.
That's the same thing.
I'm your retribution this election. I am
I'm
your
just.
voice this
I was also
election.
going to say, you also know
Because
that
they're not going to do to me what I'm not going to let them do it, and I'm not going to let them do the same thing to you. And if
Yeah.
when she becomes the governor, I can promise you what: you have an uncle, you have a grandpa, you have a cousin, you have your brother that needs to get out. You will have a governor that will get him out.
That cares.
I-
You got a
Actually cares.
governor, you got a lieutenant governor that's going to listen to you.
Yeah.
The
Actually
current-
find
current
the
lieutenant
problem.
governor. Mike
And
Kehoe
that's the
doesn't like
thing
anybody.
about it is I feel like a lot of the politicians don't know the actual problems. It's just paperwork to them. And they never go foot on the ground. You never see these people in East St. Louis. I never seen a politician in East St. Louis. So, I mean, you never see, and you never been to the prospects in
Structured.
Kansas City, and I never seen no politician walking around there handing out chicken and trying to hang out with people and, pizza, nothing. I ain't seen a politician care
Mike
about.
Kehoe he went to Carl's Jr., I believe it was, or Hardee's, and he went.
It was Hardee's.
It was Hardee's, and he did
Breakfast.
a breakfast, he served breakfast. He did it one time.
One time.
With a Hardee's shirt on.
Yeah.
And you took a picture, and then that's it. So it's like,
And it's
okay,
at a Hardee's too, so
But-
they're paying for the food. It's not like I went to the homeless community, had
Mike, you
like
didn't
brought
do
it out of my
anything
own
special,
pocket.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mike, you didn't do
I'm
anything
just-
special. You took a nice picture. That apron was a little tight on you, Mike. Go one size up. Next time pick it a little bit looser at the apron if you're gonna do it. But take care of the people you want to be their governor.
Right.
See, it's all about. They get the idea, and I've even had representatives tell me too. They said, "Why are you wanting to run for lieutenant governor? Why don't you want to pay your dues first?" As much as that might make sense to the listeners, that should tell you all their mindset.
Right.
Well, you haven't paid your dues. You haven't been in the
Money.
house, and you haven't
Cha-ching.
passed our stuff. You have to be in the House and the Senate, and then we'll allow you to run for the
Right.
lieutenant. And I said, wait a minute, isn't this about of the people, by the people, for the people? Isn't this
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Isn't this supposed to be a popular
yeah.
vote?
We the
so
people,
if that's
yeah.
the case,
I thought
got
that's what
you
it was.
guys beat because you can't sing.
Yeah, we
you
the
look
people
terrible,
of
and
the
your low poll ratings are so low. You shouldn't even be up here on the stage. But that's how Missouri is designed.
Right.
It's designed where it's this little club, and then they say, "Have you been in the club long enough?"
There are 50 little clubs. Then
Oh,
you
you
get to
can
the
be
big
lieutenant
club.
governor now. You've been.
That's wrong.
Right,
You can be
right,
governor.
right,
look
right.
Look at every single one except for Greitens.
Yeah.
You remember Eric Greitens?
I don't know who Aaron Guidance
I think
is. I'm
I've
not
heard
gonna
of
Governor
him.
lie.
before Parson.
He was the governor
okay.
before
Yeah.
Parson.
Came in from left field.
If that lets you know who how good he was of a governor,
well, think about.
I
this
wasn't
for-
there.
Think about it for a minute, though. What they did. To
I've been to
Eric
Missouri.
Greitens.
I ain't
Did
seen
you hear
him.
about what they did to him, though?
No, what happened?
He came in from left field,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't accepted.
Yeah.
Because he was an elitist. Now, all of a sudden, Eric Greitens touched someone.
Oh, he did or he didn't?
He did.
He didn't. It was
didn't.
false accusation.
All of a sudden,
Yeah,
Fake news.
he touched somebody, and then he was.
that's all the rage
they-
nadays.
They gave him an
All you
ultimatum.
have to do.
They gave him an ultimatum.
Well, I
They
was
said,
gonna say that for anybody who's doing really anything in life. You know, if you you do something crazy, man, get people talking. they're gonna blow you up. It doesn't matter what whether it's negative, positive, or neutral. If you're
press
doing
is good
something
press.
that's all, whether bad press or good press, it's all press,
all
and
press.
it all matters.
I got one piece of. I mean, shoot, there's one thing that's out right now. And that's why I've got 8 interviews lined up. Because
Right.
everybody wants to talk about one thing, and I'm saying, well, wait, we shouldn't.
No, let's talk about the actual issues. Let's
talk
not
about
like
the issues that
let's
matter.
let's
Not
get
just
away
the
from the
bad
you know the
things.
dumb stuff or the simple stuff, the stuff that's gonna clear itself up anyways.
mean-
And let's actually get to the real topics, and that's Missouri, and that's you know what I'm saying. That's how I felt when
I'm dealing with Rosie O'Donnell of Springfield, Missouri.
But
Rosie O'Donnell.
But that's the Facebook talking points. That's the X. That's the that's where people are.
Yeah.
And they believe anything.
Yes.
yeah.
It
That's
takes a little more work to dig
Yeah.
in and find out. You
well,
know
and that's
what?
why
There's
I
some
wanted you
holes
guys
here.
like live here
There's some
today.
holes here.
Thank you.
I wanted you guys live here today so I could actually see real faces, real get your guys' actual intention. Like I said, I think a lot of people just did. I was trying to say that a lot of like the political views for you, it wasn't showing anything online for your political views, and so that's what we were like trying to get into because we were like, I just didn't understand. It was like it was like a biography in a sense to me. Like when I read the thing that I seen, it was like a biography about Dr.Janice, and I was like. It wasn't correlating to me because I was like, how's that gonna, like, I just didn't understand how a nurse was gonna do something for Missouri. You get what I'm saying? At such a high level. But after talking with you now, I can see that you have a lot more thought process behind it than just, hey, I'm a nurse and I'm gonna go in for governor. You see what I'm saying? Because off first glance, like I said, it wasn't giving me any political views about how you actually felt about stuff. And then, like I said, it wasn't like enough people hadn't probably clicked into your profile or something's going on there to where like
Right.
it wasn't showing you
And-
on the main
and
page, and I
it's
want to
being-
get that
and
like
it's
that.
It's being built too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. It takes time. It takes
does.
time. If
There's
you're
there's a
yeah,
there's
be
a couple of
patient.
people that
Be
are building
patient
it.
because as the months go along, you guys will notice that your guys' names will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, whether that's through podcast interviews, radio interviews, whatever, I mean, eventually you guys will catch Missourians' eyes in the fact that you guys are actually trying to do something
Well,
that's going to help
what
us.
we want to do. I've been going but
And you guys
some-
showed up in person, so
yeah, this is so great.
You're real life. You're real
gone
life
to
here.
A number of Lincoln Reagan dinners, but you only get a certain demographic, and that's not representative of that county.
yeah.
Yeah.
You might have
Stop
100
letting
people
a half a
or a
million
couple
people
hundred
decide your
people,
future.
but yet you have a whole slew of people that live in the county, and just very few of them come. So, and that's not to say that they're not important,
Right.
but I want to figure out a way to reach more of the county
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
than people that maybe they can't pay $50 to come out to a dinner.
Right.
So how
It's
can
not
you-
about that, yeah. And if you're
No.
really
So
wanting to be
how
a
can
part of
you-
it, you should
and-
be able to be a part of it and it not be about money. And not
That's
be about
right.
your
And
social
you have
status.
To pay a certain amount of
I
money.
feel like you should be able to be a homeless man with one ripped off sleeve and a pant leg sleeve.
that's
And
right.
if you
So how
and if
can you
you're
reach
really
that
passionate,
person?
I think you should
people like you.
you have a point. You know what I'm saying? So if you're actually passionate about it and it's within you, it doesn't matter how you come for appearance or how not everybody has everything together every day. So I understand how it goes, but I just, like I said, I like where you guys are going with like what you guys are trying to do as far as through the GOP and with the
putting
Republicans.
Missouri back on track.
Yeah.
I believe in this state. I believe in the people of the state. I believe in the power of the people of the state.
Yeah.
And they get sidelined, and it's a train that's derailed,
Yeah.
Right.
and the train is a people.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you take somebody to get that back on track again? And that's work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
I've worked hard all
And
my
that's
life.
that
I'm
was one
willing
of
to
our
do that.
questions too, is like, with everything that you got going on, because aren't you a dean in Haiti?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And so that's what we were like wondering. I was like, how is she going to be able to juggle between Haiti and Missouri?
Because I have a great faculty that are there.
Okay.
And I've worked with them over
So you have a
years.
team. You have a team.
Oh, I have a wonderful team.
Yeah.
I have administrator.
You have people who actually care, who are with you, for
and
you.
they're Haitians.
Oh, okay.
They're
Awesome.
Haitians.
Okay.
And I've trained them how, just because you're a nurse doesn't mean you're a professor.
Right.
So you work with people and you teach them how to teach. and you teach them how to assess learning, how to write a good test, how to evaluate students, how to tell if a sophomore is at the place they should be as a sophomore nursing student,
Right.
when they are ready to graduate. Have they mastered the skills? Do they have the ability to problem solve with patients?
Yeah.
And they're not going to have it like me. I've been a nurse for a long time now.
Right. You
But
you understand it.
I had to start someplace.
Mhm.
And you
Nobody
have
does it perfect.
And
Yeah.
your goal is you want to pass the RN exam. You want to pass the government exam that you can become a registered nurse.
Right. Yeah.
In Haiti, the average nursing school has a 69% pass rate. That's pretty low.
That is
Yeah.
really low.
Average nursing school in Haiti has 69%. My school's 92.3.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's good
92.3.
numbers. That's
Wow.
good
One in the
numbers.
country.
Yeah.
It's the number one in the country because I have a great faculty there.
Well, and that right
I've
there
worked
just
with
proves
them
that
for
you
years.
can already manage something.
That's right.
You're managing something at a high level
And I
too,
built
and it's
it
not
from
just
scratch.
it's
Started at the bottom and built it from scratch.
Yeah.
started from the bottom. Now we're here. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Started
Great
from the
song
bottom.
by Drake.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just on a bigger
Living
scale.
at my mama's house, we all eat every month.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yes.
So
But
yeah, how can I do that? Because I don't do it by myself. We work together.
So you got a whole team. That's what I was
I have a
concerned
whole
with.
team.
I was like,
I
are you going to
have
be
a-
able to focus directly on Missouri on certain things when, you might have something pressing in Haiti? And that's the part where I was like, well, I want to ask her that because it's something that the people should know. The people should know if we're going to have somebody come through, have them be in this way or that
But
way,
I
you know?
can do Missouri because I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Because I've done that.
And how long have you guys been in Missouri, if you don't mind me asking?
July will be 16 years.
July will be 16 years.
All right.
That's a long time.
Well,
That's a long time.
Yeah.
All I can say is this: that I think you guys have a lot of great things and stuff like that. And all the questions that I've had, you guys have pretty much knocked it out of the ballpark and left me almost speechless and everything. And I can personally say that I will be voting for you guys for sure, 100%, because everything that you
Wow.
guys have said are the things that I actually care about: the foster care system, prison,
The prisons, yeah.
the school system, many things like that. And those are things that need to be fixed and need to be changed. And I believe in you guys. I believe in you guys very much, and I will be voting for you guys 100%.
But you know what? It's something else.
Believe in you.
I do not take that vote lightly. I
Yep.
do not. But you have been involved in the foster system.
Yes.
You've been involved in a broken education system. You know about the prison system. You're exactly the person to sit down with that already knows the problems.
Yeah.
You're exactly the person.
Yeah,
to
we're the
sit
ones
down
who deal with the
at
problems
those
every day.
kitchen
Yeah.
tables that say, how do you think we can fix this?
Yes.
Right.
And,
And you've got the voice to do it with
Yeah.
what you're doing right here.
Well, thank you so
You've got
much.
I shouldn't say the voice. You have the avenue
Yeah.
to do it. So
Well, I appreciate you
it's-
guys saying
it's
that
great. This
because
is
it makes me
great.
feel better about like what I'm doing. Because when I got all this stuff together and I started, putting together the Z House Mafia and like what are we gonna do as far as like for all of our other groups and other stuff we had going on, and I was like, you have to be able to keep pushing, and you have to realize that there's at the end of the tunnel there is light.
That's right.
And so
There
right
is
now
light
it
in
might
the
seem like the tunnel's falling on you and you're trapped and everything, your world's caving in. If you can hang on, breathe, if you got to walk it off, if you got to
Catch the
talk to
boat.
somebody, if you need a therapist, if you need something, closed mouths don't get fed. And so
No, they don't.
and so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm making it to where people can be able to open up their mouth to be able to let people know who they are and what they got going on. I know I hate to say politicians because you guys aren't politicians, but that wasn't my intention when I actually started this podcast. It wasn't. Our intention was
understand. That's right.
to do music review and interviews in general. So, like I said, it was just a very great thing to me when Philip reached out and was like, "Hey, I like what you guys are doing up there. I like how it's going together. I like how you guys you guys are actually doing something." And that made me feel good because I was like,
You are.
a lot of people even in my city, Joplin specifically, will say, "Hey, I'm doing this, man. Link up with me. We'll get this going." And then you get over there, and it's not set up at all. It's not It's not an actual setup at all. Like, I mean, not trying to be disrespectful to none of my, Joplians.
This is lit.
But I'm just like, I actually went and put the time in and the money in, and
And that doesn't respect you.
yeah,
Yeah.
That
yeah,
doesn't respect you
yeah,
or your time.
yeah. And that's another thing too, is that
Right.
a lot of the people think it's a game if you don't already have something to show for it. So like when I was first starting out, it kind of sucked because all I had was my music. All I had was what I was creating on my mic and what I was putting out. And then I started to realize, I started to tone back. I'm like, there's so many different aspects I could be hitting. It's not just about one thing. Yeah. One thing is not what's gonna get us to the top, or one thing's not gonna be the thing that never in life never happens. Not even your most famous rap stars put out one song and go famous because of it. That's right. They go through 4 or 5 albums. You probably didn't hear them, but I promise you go through about a good amount of time before you try this over and over again until you get it perfect. And so that's why, like I said, when you guys got a hold of me and wanted to do this, I was just very, very joyed, because I was like, it's just a different angle. Yeah. It's just a different angle. Like, and I got Charlie CB Business for episode 4, and he's a Crip out of Tulsa. And then I think we're gonna try and get a cop for episode 5. So like go from like a Crip to a cop and get both their perspectives. I don't know about that yet, but but then, like I said, I got y'all for the very beginning, and I definitely want to have y'all back when you guys win.
I'd love to come back.
Definitely.
When you guys win.
I was thinking about, that would be lit. Like once I grab the nomination, we should talk about
bring you to
something
Jeff
like
City.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would load all this equipment up, and we could do a podcast up there.
That would be
where you guys could literally get right off from winning.
Listen, Lieutenant Governor, other than presiding over the Senate, he's kind of like open and can do some. Because one of the things I want to do with my spare time, I wouldn't call it the Lieutenant Governor's job spare time, but there's a lot of when the General Assembly is not in session, I'll have time. So I want to spend that going into the inner city, finding the issues that need to be tackled. That's something that I don't feel that any other.
I just think I think people in general. Okay.
Holly Raider is not going to go into East Side St. Louis.
No.
Yeah.
Neither is Lincoln Howell. He's not going to go into St. Louis. Yeah. So Kansas City.
Not in the dangerous parts. And they're not going to go in the dangerous parts.
Holly Raider's not going to even go into. She'll go and meet up with maybe the mayor for about 10 minutes, if that.
Are you guys going to do something about the murder rate? The murder? Are you guys going to be able to try and put your hand in on something in the murder rate for St. Louis? Because I noticed that we're like, what are we, number 1 ranking right now, or are we number 2?
Well, even Springfield.
Yeah.
Springfield is very dangerous.
Violent. Yeah. And it's crazy. It's downtown.
It's crazy.
It's downtown. It's like, what are the people? What is your government people in your city?
I'm going downtown to have a Feed Missouri initiative pretty soon, so this ought to be interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, the people downtown are nice, and I think people in the outskirts I feel like most of the people that you meet in Missouri, whether they're from Missouri or not Missouri, as long as you've been in Missouri for more than a year, I promise that person's probably going to be pretty chill, and they're gonna want to just they're gonna want to get to know you. A lot of the people here are real people. It's not like I said, not trying to diss anybody from other cities or states, but like, I met, people from California who lived out there for a long time, and like their mindset will even be different from someone who like lived in New York or, Brooklyn or Houston or Dallas, or, if you go up and you go to Chicago or, and I've talked to people from all those cities, and I've noticed that even from all those cities and all those states, the people here actually do, like, I can run into a random person and you will get hospitality. You will get genuine care from someone who does not know you. And that's true. In other states, I've never got that type of compassion before. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you guys, I lived in Texas for over 5 years, and I mean, the people down there were nice too, and it's just different styles. But
it is. Missouri's a good state, and I'm not from here, but I like it here.
I don't think Bro and I would have the same type of hospitality that you and my mom would have.
Right.
But definitely, I agree. Missouri is a very overall hospitable state.
Yeah, I'm saying you can, in a general.
It's gotten on the wrong track.
Oh yeah.
It's gotten on the wrong track, and you have to look at the leaders.
That's in a politic way, and I feel like we've gotten the wrong track.
But I think Missouri is salvageable.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about some of our other states, but
Yeah.
but I think Missouri is salvageable, and it's worth it to work hard
Mm-hmm.
to put it back on track.
Yes.
And
I'm
that's
willing to do that.
I want to tell you, my listeners, I feel like, you gotta, you guys can see it. You guys can see that they're real people. You guys can see that they've discussed all their issues. They've told you, the hot button topics, the things that are gonna, the things that matter, the things that don't matter, and to let everybody, all my listeners know you guys all matter, and that they think that you matter. Philip Cotrone and Janice Cotrone care about you, and they care about what you guys are trying to do in this state, and I think they want to see us succeed, guys. That's just my honest opinion.
And I don't want people to get worried about maybe, it's a mom and son team,
Yeah.
Look at Jay Ashcroft. Just so you guys know, his father was the former governor. He's wanting to be the governor because his dad was. So if you're going to vote for Jay Ashcroft, you're going to vote for a family team anyways. Vote for a family team that actually cares about you versus one that just wants to
Who knows how to
be
work.
the John
Yeah.
Quincy Adams of Missouri.
Just money,
Yeah.
money,
Knows how
money.
to work
And it's
together.
like another thing, like when you look at like Bush and everything, his father was president, and then he became
Yeah.
president. So what's
And
the
his
difference?
brother.
What's the problem?
What's Ashcroft's real motive to
Exactly.
be governor, right?
Yeah.
Are you wanting to
Jeb.
be governor because your dad was?
Yeah, that's
Is that
true.
really what it was? So if that's the case, leave us alone and pick the family that actually has the best interest.
Yes.
If you're
Yeah.
gonna pick a family, pick this one.
Yeah, I would definitely say
and
go out
without any
vote.
baggage.
Without
Yeah.
baggage.
Yeah.
I don't have any baggage.
Yeah.
What did John Ashcroft pass when he was governor?
Yeah.
Young folks don't go fall into that.
And that's
That
another
won't
thing
fall
too
apart.
is they give you false hopes. So like politicians, I've noticed this I've sat down with other politicians. No, you guys aren't politicians, but in my head I keep thinking politician because you guys are what you guys are going for. But I've talked to other politicians. I've talked to Mike Parsons. I've talked to different ones, and it's weird. Like they kind of like seem very like they're in this bubble of their own thing. So like you can't. It's like a handshake, and then they're not actually getting to know the real person.
They give the worst handshakes ever.
And
But
It's
a
the
nurse
most-
isn't going to give
Limp
false hope.
wristed and everything. Just
Yeah, kind of like
Go
a dead
shake Jay's.
fish.
Go shake Jay Ashcroft's hand. I did that one time. I was like,
But-
Jay, how are you?
A nurse is not going to give
Looked at me
false
like I was a
hope.
runaway.
Oh.
I won't give a false hope.
Yeah.
I won't do that to any of my patients or their families.
right, and you won't do that to Missouri.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm-
that's a lie.
right.
That's a lie. How can I look you in the eye and say one of them, Eigel, he said he didn't think there should be any taxes in Missouri. No taxes.
That
Well,
makes no
that's
sense.
That's a great thing, and he called out a number of states that didn't have
Wrong.
taxes, such as Florida. But that's fine. Florida has Disney World. Florida has a lot of tourism. Florida has beaches
Venues,
all around.
everything that
Well,
you ever wanted.
exactly. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
money that's coming into
Mhm.
Florida that can be tapped. Lots of funds that can be tapped. Missouri doesn't have. We don't have beaches here like
Yeah.
that. We're not on the coast.
No,
We
you're
have Atlantic
completely
and
right,
Gulf
though.
of Mexico. We don't have.
If
Disney
you, actually, a
World.
matter
We
of
got
fact,
Branson, and we need
So-
to fix that.
Yeah.
if you
Widen
noticed,
the
Oh my
streets.
gosh, yes.
if you noticed, they've actually a lot of the businesses around here since COVID to now have died off.
Have died.
If you're a local business owner, I've noticed that a lot of them are dying off. They're
So
either
it's,
selling
you
their
know,
business
it's
or they're
shutting
shutting it
down.
One
down.
thing, and that's sad. That's a family business. That's where was the state?
Yeah, they've
then?
probably been there for
Yeah.
30
Where
years,
was the
45
state
years.
then?
Yeah.
Where was it?
That's wrong.
Yeah, where were
Yeah.
they when
That's
they could have
wrong.
fixed it?
Kehoe launched a stupid program called Buy Missouri program. Okay, that's fine, but what did you do with it? Was it just a program to look good?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you
Right.
actually do it? Because if your Buy Missouri program really meant anything,
It would actually make
Where's
a
the
difference.
results?
where's the results?
Where's the
Yeah.
results?
They can't show you none either. And I mean,
Just
that's just
avoid
facts.
the
I've
taxpayer
That's
dollars.
why you have to be evaluating the problems. You identify the problem, you create a plan, you put the plan into, it's called the nursing process. Nurses
Right.
will know this. You put the plan into action, and then you go back and you evaluate it.
right.
That's missing. We're not
Yeah.
even looking at
Yeah.
evaluating.
How
Is
many-
it working?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's
How
not
many
working. It's
listeners?
just costing more and more and more and more
Yes.
money.
Right.
And that's another thing. I'm getting married in May. I'm getting married on May 4th. And
Oh,
my
really?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And my fiance grew up on a hog farm in northern Iowa. His father had 2,500 head of hogs. that's where pork belongs.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't belong. It doesn't belong in budgets.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It doesn't belong in budgets.
Yeah.
And you
Straight roasted them out.
Dang.
His father would sell a hog at 150 pounds, and he said, growing up, his dad, he was the superintendent of schools, and he said his dad could eye any hog and tell if it was 4 or 5 pounds under or that much over. And he knew exactly what 150 pounds would look like,
Right.
and that's when he sold them.
I go down to Zan's and I hogs too.
And that's where pork belongs. And why is it in budgets? That's
Right.
wrong.
That's
That's
right.
just wrong.
Yeah.
So you get out of budgets and you focus on what you need to focus on. And the funds will be there if you stop these stupid dead-end
Yeah,
projects.
and that's a lot of the things. If you notice, like some of the bills that they put into act, in small writing, it actually has to where it's supposed to be 8%, 10%, 24%. It goes right back into their money.
Sure.
Or and it's not.
And is that right?
No,
Is
not
that
when
right?
not when you got teachers who are teaching a classroom of 20 plus students a day, and they're not even being able to, some of I literally remember 2 of my teachers telling me in high school, tonight I'm not gonna have anything for dinner tonight because I like the check that I got. She actually spent her money to get. I was in a special ed class because of my behavior, and the teacher that ran that, she actually had put all of her money into the kids, and she was gonna go hungry that night. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm gonna try to do something, and I never did because I was a kid. I didn't have a car. I didn't.
Now.
Yeah, I haven't.
are now.
Yeah, I know. I have an opportunity now. But it's a real thing that I think about though. I think back to moments like that where like my teacher was keeping it real with me when she's supposed to be the teacher.
Yeah.
She's not supposed to have, like, in my head, like, your teacher shouldn't have any issues. Your teacher should be completely good to where they're there for education. They're there to teach your kid how to.
On King Dave.
But then they show up, and a lot of them are just, the money's not right, or the time's not right, or they don't have the patience. And so then you have a whole school system of broken teachers. You have the teachers.
Broken.
Yeah, and also the other part that I don't like about the school system is that they're trying to make factory workers. The guy who actually invented schools, his whole purpose of making schools from the very beginning was to make workers of America. That was his whole point of making a 1st through 12th grade system, was that by the time that you hit 12th grade, and if you complete, that's why the high school diploma is such a big important deal, is because it shows that you're able to stick it out. But in my head, it's like I said, I seen through it at a very young age. At 16, 17, I was already running, and I was like, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? And then I really and I wish I would have graduated. I disappointed my mom when I didn't graduate. I disappointed my family when I didn't graduate. But at the same time of saying that, that's not the only thing that matters. But like I said, I just feel like a lot of that comes down to, it's a system that was set up a long, long time ago. It's like, we don't use fridges from 1950s no more, do we? We don't use TVs
We
from
don't
1950s.
use no icebox.
Yeah, we don't use. You know what I'm saying? You don't use the TV from 1950 no more. We upgraded. You have a 65-inch
The rabbit
LCD
ears.
in your living room now. If that was the case, then how come we don't drive a Model T and
I still got rabbit ears in my trap though. What you mean?
yeah,
Shout out to Kansas City. I already know you got them rabbit ears over there. We love you too.
Yeah, I just wanted, at a higher level, you have to be able to notice where it's this thing works and that thing doesn't.
That's right.
Right.
So
And what works for one person
might not work for
the other, for another person.
Yeah, and that's another thing about the school system, is that they set it up to where you're supposed to, like I said, it was set up so that they could factory your kids. Factory your kids to be a certain, that's why, I mean, if you meet homeschooled kids, they will be like weirdly genuine in a way that like you never.
We're joked. People laugh at homeschooled kids. They go, "Oh, you must be homeschooled." Yeah, we're smarter.
Yeah, I was about to
Well,
say
yeah.
they're smarter than us.
The only part that and that's, but like I said, I don't think that that's what the school system should be there for. I don't think it's to make factory workers. I don't
Yeah.
think that the school system should be there to
No,
make
no.
a guy who can press a button and stand there for 12 hours.
Or sit there on a line,
This is the
packaging
reason
stuff
why
and
I
shipping
realized it. I realized it at
that's right.
16,
It's
17
not
years
an
old,
assembly.
and I left. I remember I was walking up the stairs into the Joplin High School, and I got up about halfway up the stairs, and I went, why am I doing this? It was like early in the morning. I was tired, didn't want to really be there. But I was like, I remember walking. I got like halfway up the stairs, and I had just bought my Ford Taurus. I had a white Ford Taurus. I remember I got halfway up the stairs, and I went, nah, I'm gonna go home. I think I'm gonna go work on my music. I'm gonna do something different today. I don't wanna do this. And I remember walking down the stairs. I went and got my car and drove off. And I never went back. I went back like 2 years later to try and go back to high school because I was like, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I could use a high school diploma. And then I was like now that I'm 25 and I've went through those experiences to now, and I still don't have a high school diploma. In my opinion, I don't think a high school diploma matters unless you're trying to get a job where that's going to be the case.
Yeah, that they
there's lots of jobs out there where all you have to do is just go.
There's a lot of jobs out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of jobs out there that you can go get, and that's another thing too. Is the youth nowadays is, I want to play on my phone. I don't want to go outside. A lot of that's sad. That's sad to me because when I was a kid, we didn't have the option of a cell phone. It was go play with the rock, go outside for real. Hey, go play tag, find a football, try and do something.
Kids today have very little imagination.
Yeah.
And the children are naturally imaginative.
Yeah.
And should be. That's how
They're
learn.
supposed to be the
Yeah,
dreamers.
that's-
They're supposed to be the
that's right,
dreamers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Their natural curiosity kicks in.
Yeah.
And it does when they're crawling.
Yeah.
But when that's replaced by this,
Oh yeah.
and there's constant infeeding into that brain,
Yeah.
it's not going to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's
Not right.
You
And I
don't
would
learn
say,
anything
like,
either.
No.
our
You don't learn
founding
right from
fathers-
wrongs. You don't learn. You're good.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say our founding fathers, they had dreams and they made it happen. You know,
Yeah.
like they didn't just wake up one day and just said, "Oh, okay, whatever." No, they actually woke up, said, "I want to change. I want to change this. I want to make this country greater and better because the place I was at wasn't that good and everything." And that's what it was. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. And also, and like you guys said, you guys have already pointed out, it's a broken system. It's a broken system, and like I really do feel confident in y'all. Like I said, even being in front of y'all right now, I can tell that you guys are like very you guys are confident. And that makes me feel confident that you guys are actually going to be the ones to, make something change in on a higher level, not just like I said at our level. Like what?
Because you matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and that's another thing. Our vote does matter. Our voice does matter. And also like now more than ever, because now I got my own platform. Now I got my own stuff. Like there's no middleman. There's no talking. I do what I want when I want to do it, and we're gonna start running it like that. And that's how I've continued to live for the past 2 years. If I want something, I'm driving towards it, and I'm gonna get it, and it don't matter what it is. And so,
And look how proud you are of yourself when you do.
yeah, I
when you
know.
get
I do.
there.
I do it.
That's a great feeling of accomplishment.
Oh no, it does feel good though, because like
It
I said,
feels good.
Yeah.
especially when you go back, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was for 6 to 8 months, I was, on drugs, and I was doing not too well. I was living in Section 8 housing with a female that I'd ran into, and I was getting into the same sort of situations where, I mean, she already had a baby daddy with 2 babies, and he was gone, passed away. And so I was, trying to take on that role of being that, that dad, but I was also so broken myself.
Right.
You can't help you can't help nobody if you can't help yourself.
That's
right.
true. Yeah.
And so I'm like, I was broken, and I was on meth, and I was at my lowest. And I went, you know what? This is all stupid. What am I doing? I remember, and I remember my stepbrother, he showed up and he's like, bro, why don't you just come out here? We'll get you sober and we'll get things right. Hey, the best decision I ever made in my life was leaving that night and going out to that trailer. And I stayed there for 2 weeks, got sober off meth, and I haven't touched it since. And so
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I realized that it's the people that you surround yourself with. It's kind of like, rice. If you get a bag of rice and you cuss into one bag, and then you get another bag of rice and you say good things to the rice, you will notice it's a real thing. The rice that you say, hey, I love you, you're a good rice, blah, 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 will stay fresh and clean and white. The rice that you're cussing into or that you're saying bad things to will start to mold. And that right there proves to you that your words have vibrations that can affect the whole world around you.
Wow. Yeah, the words matter.
And so that's why I gave you that example, because I just
Interesting, the rice.
It's a real thing. You can get a jar. I mean, if you want to, my viewers at home, you can literally go get 2 jars, get white rice, and like I said, cuss into one and talk good into the other. Because this is what my cousin does for her kids. It like is teaching them that it's a thing. It's a lesson. It's a tool. She's using this for her kids. She'll let them come home from school and they get 5 minutes to they can say whatever they want to the bad bull and they can say whatever they want to the good bull, and this is showing them that their words can impact how they move in life. Like
It's true. Words are powerful.
if you're positive and you're also like yourself, a lot of people will know you will be able to push through. Persevere through any of it. It doesn't matter where you're at, whether you're at the lowest point, the scumbags at the bottom of the earth, or whether you're at the very top with the kings. It's about just knowing that you got the stature. I have the pride. I know who I am. It doesn't matter. No amount of money, no amount of property, no amount of this or that can stop what I have inside. It's my heart. It's my brain. My mom and dad gave it to me, but it's the most powerfulest things that I was ever blessed with. And you're right. And that's what I was trying to say for all the Missourians and stuff. It's a lot of these people actually care. Yeah. Janice and Philip care, and
go out and vote.
I just want to say that, and I also want to say, because I know that there's going to be people who are hating, and I'm just gonna say this: keep hating, and we love you. Yeah. We love you. Just keep hating.
You guys do. Love you guys. Do.
Yeah, we love. You know what? Tune in, all the haters. I love you guys. You know what? Because that's how I feel. So, but okay. So, are you guys? Is there anything that y'all want to talk about? Is there anything that y'all have on your mind that you want to say?
I'm good.
I'm pretty good. I just want to say thank you so very much for.
Yeah, you guys can say a bye outro.
I really, really appreciate it, and I'll just say this. We're at the cusp of making a massive change in our state. We have no incumbents in office.
Yeah.
It's all new folks. We're going to have a new governor. We're going to have a new lieutenant governor.
Janice Cotrone and Philip Cotrone. That's who the governor and lieutenant governor are going to be. We have
a chance, guys, to decide for ourselves how we want our lives to be and not surrender our voice and our vote to a demographic of people that could care less about how you feel the day after the election.
Yeah.
The day after they didn't talk to you before, they won't talk
to you after. Yep.
You didn't matter
They just
before,
make appearances.
Yeah. So let's go make a real change. When we get in, we're gonna pass a stimulus check only for Missourians. Only for Missourians. There will be a stimmy because the state has the money.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be
all that pork.
spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on
what
stuff.
You know what they're spending the money on, right? I mean, I can tell you guys, they're spending the money on new Rolls Royces, mansions,
dumb stuff.
Personal escort.
Yeah, all of it. Cocaine.
Right.
I noticed a lot of the politicians up there in Jeff City are. My mom actually works for the state of Missouri. She's a job coordinator. So she goes around she tries to get people jobs. She literally goes from she goes all around Missouri. She works for the state of Missouri as, like I said, but she's like the head. But she goes to these places, sets up events, tries to get people to get jobs in this city.
Right,
She'll go to the next city and they do the same thing. But she cares about Missouri, and I know that once she watches this interview, she's gonna probably, she'll want to put something behind it just because I know that she wants real people too. I know that she goes to chambers of commerce meetings. She goes to all that stuff. She's at your city hall meetings. My mom's very smart, and she's very intelligent in the way that she moves. And so I know that like I said, she knows all about all of them. She's been in all the courthouses. She knows all the court people. She knows all the people. She knows people from the top to the bottom. And so that's what makes me feel better, to know that I'm in front of people who are going to actually make a difference for Missouri. Because like I said, for someone like my mom, who has, for probably 25, 30 years now, she's been busting her ass for Missouri. She's been trying to do something.
She's seen this system on the inside, too.
Yes. She's seen guys get out of prison, have to stay at a halfway house, have no job, and no one will hire them because their charge is too big. They can't, you know what I'm saying? And then she's the one that's got to coordinate, getting them a bike to be able to get to work, making sure that they got, clothes on their back.
Right.
She would do all that sort of stuff like when she first started before she got to the position that she's at now. Like now she's kind of like she sets up job events.
Yeah, like
But
Job Corps, yeah.
yeah. And but
She sees where the system is broken, and she sees how you can keep that person from making good decisions.
Yeah.
Because the system's geared that way.
Yeah.
And so they reoffend, and they
Yeah.
never.
Yeah.
They
Well, and that's
never
why
get
she would
on
try to,
top of
like,
that.
as soon as they got out of prison, she would be like the first ones there to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, are you actually wanting to get, your life together? I know that you've been
Right.
sitting down for 5+ years or whatever, and she's
right.
able to go, hey, it's not over.
Mm-hmm.
Just cause you got this or this or this does not mean that you're a bad person, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to say no to you. It's about being your true self and knowing right from wrong, and then being able to move forward and be able to do the right things moving forward. And so I don't know. She's got a big heart, and so she gave it to me.
So does
and
her son.
Yeah, thank you.
Both of you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
I can tell.
That's it.
You're great guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I
thank you.
appreciate
This
you
is
guys.
really
for real.
an honor.
It's an honor for me.
Yeah,
And like
it's
I
an
said,
honor for
and,
both
and
of
we
us.
and when you guys win, we're gonna have you back on.
Yeah.
We'll come to you guys, or you guys could come.
For
We win. It's gonna
inauguration.
get turned.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if
Yeah.
anything, we could do like an IRL stream and do it
I'll
where we.
perform live
Yeah.
too. A big shout out to Kevin Dunn. He's where I'm going to be performing. I think actually you'll be with me. So everyone come on May 28th to the Regency Live. More information by Kevin Dunn, and check him out on Facebook. But
Yeah, definitely get me in on that. I'm definitely down
Oh
there.
yeah, you'll catch Willie P and Don Felipe live with a whole bunch of others. We've got some of the really good names, and there'll be more than likely a headliner that will be along with me.
A big name, big
But,
names.
stay tuned to Kevin Dunn's page and the Baracus group, because they'll let you know who that big name is, and I can promise you, it's going to be turned.
Awesome.
Yeah, everybody's been waiting for Don Felipe live.
Yeah,
in
no,
Springfield.
dude,
It's
I've been
about to
listening.
go down.
I've been listening to Wait. I love Wait. That shit's sick. It's like it reminds me of Pop Smoke. Wait.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, we've been mixing and mastering. We've been
Let's
sitting
get
in
it.
the cut.
Oh,
So
yeah, we're gonna have to before the show.
Yeah.
we'll have to get a brand new one out.
yeah.
So like, I'll slide back up. We'll record something, and we'll get something.
Dude,
brand
yeah, let me
new
know.
just
Yeah.
for the show.
That'd be
Let me know.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and like I said, definitely just keep me in mind for if you guys want to do more stuff. If you guys want to do, like I said, we do events and different things too. So if you guys ever want to team with us,
We got a Feed Missouri coming up. Kevin Baracus group, Kevin Dunn's involved in that. Big shout out to Kevin Dunn. Sade Shine.
oh, I know Shadi Shine.
Sade Shine.
Yeah.
Shine Entertainment.
I
Big
hung
shout
out with her at the club a couple of times.
She's
cool.
awesome. She's involved in the Feed Missouri as well.
I
wanna
didn't
give
even
a
know
shout
that.
out- Give a shout out to Gabriela Verdugo from Harmony House. Doing great things over there. Absolutely great things. And Gabrielle Verdugo and her husband Kyle, dude, they're both doing an amazing job. So
Awesome.
I want to give a shout out to them as well. They've been involved in a little bit of the Feed Missouri as well. And Travis Smith, Representative Travis Smith, thank you so very much. He's another big voice in doing the right thing in the state of Missouri. So I
Awesome.
want
Good
to
guy.
back
Yeah.
Representative Smith. He's actually going to be our next senator for the 155th district, I believe. So he's become like a mentor to me.
Awesome.
And so I really appreciate him.
He's been putting in time with you to show you how it all runs.
A couple more people I want to say real fast. This will be for a guy. I know Dan Scavino, the President Trump's chief communications director. I want to thank Dan Scavino for all that he's doing. Kellyanne Conway.
Kellyanne Conway.
She's doing an absolutely amazing job. President Trump, I want to say, Mr. President, we need you back in the White House more than ever. I understand that you're sitting here and you could have lived a great life, but you decided to look at Missouri, look at the United States, and you said, I care about America. And for that, we we thank you, and we also want to look at this and say, Mr. President, we stand behind you. My mom and I both running for office. We both endorse you. But we look at when you get in, you know, we're going to do the best we can, not only as Republicans, but as Americans. This isn't even a Republican and Democrat thing at this point now.
Right.
We're careening to edge so quickly
Right.
that it needs to be an American thing. We need to have a party of America.
That's right.
Right.
When we have a party of America, then we're going to have an America actually truly
That's an actual America.
care about each
That's
other.
right.
Yeah.
And then we'll have
We
start
could
putting
possibly
people in
lose
office
the
that care.
selfishness of
That's right.
everybody around us.
That's right.
You know.
We don't need a walking Roomba as the president. We need
Yeah.
someone that knows what's going on.
Not a robot. I don't want a
Isn't
robot.
afraid to hit
Agenda.
big issues,
President
hard
Trump
issues.
has the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. President, if you're looking for a vice president, I think I found your running mate. Just saying. I promise you, if you ever have to worry about certifying an election, you don't have a Tim Scott over here, okay? You don't have a Tim Scott. You've
They
got
don't know
someone
how
here-
feisty I can be.
Yeah.
You've got
They
someone
don't know
here.
how feisty I can be.
I could tell that. I mean, you're a fighter. So.
I am
And
a
I can
fighter.
tell you've been
I am a
you've
fighter.
been a lot of places and you've done a lot of things and you made a lot of things happen.
I personally think my mom would make a great vice president.
I
I'm just
think,
saying.
to be honest with you,
She'd
I
make
think
great.
you'd make a great president.
Yeah.
The
Thank
first
you.
female president. I think
Following
that. I
President
mean,
Trump.
I feel like
Thank you.
that's my real honest opinion. That is, if you went and dumped your own money behind yourself and you guys went and campaign pushed right for you to be a president, I guarantee money you could be our
Well,
first female
let's-
president.
hey, viewers,
That's my
I
honest
need- I
opinion.
need all the
Bless your
listeners.
heart.
Listeners, let's see if we can't just see if you like what my mom had to say. If you like, vote for her to be the next governor of the state of Missouri. If you really liked what she had to say and think she can do a better job up in Washington, hey, tag President Trump at Real Donald Trump on X and just go say, hey, Mr. President, I think we've got your female candidate for vice president. You know, I've been seeing all these things online that say he needs to pick a black candidate or a female candidate or something like that. The president has the idea that he needs to pick the person that cares about the country.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
reason why
I
we
won't
haven't
do him in.
Well, and that's also the other thing about it is the
Fight
other
for
guy's just
America.
as important.
Right.
Whoever you're
cares?
going with is also just as important.
And I personally believe take mom equation out.
Uh huh.
The president needs a vice president that is going to care about the country. Someone that's also not on the inside. I get the news wants to speculate about
The cool
Stephanie
part is you've already been
Giffords.
caring for people. You've already been caring for people
This is what she
Yeah.
does.
here anyways.
Live.
President
From
Trump, this is what she
Haiti.
does for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Haiti to here.
So
From
Yeah,
Haiti
from
to
Haiti
here.
to
She was
here.
born to
Yeah.
be vice. See, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I personally am endorsing. I will say, as your next 49th lieutenant governor, I'm endorsing my mother for governor of this state, and someday I endorse her to be the president of this
Yeah.
state because the same values that she's taught me, that's what she's going to do on this state. And I can promise you one big thing: you will be taken care of. You will have a candidate that will care
will
for you,
fight.
not just care for you once every 4 years like these other guys are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't do that.
And also, like I said, just someone who's not so involved in what they got, like their agendas, their mass agendas up there in the pocket, like the pocket picketing that goes on basically where it's, I shove money in your pocket, you say what I want you to say. And I just like that. I know that you guys got your own, and I know it's kind of like the Donald Trump situation. It's like he's got his own, so I know why wouldn't he do something that's going to benefit.
Does my hair
he's-
look like a...
Well, just
My-
I was
my
saying that.
agenda
Just
is you. My agenda is outside the walls of here.
awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody,
agenda.
everybody in our state. I get you.
And that's what
That's
I
awesome.
I can say this is a show me state. Let them show you what they got.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Let them.
That's
Let
good.
and,
That's good.
Yeah.
I
So
was
go
gonna
out there and vote.
Yeah,
Like,
go and vote. Yeah,
Thank you,
and
thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
even if you're not gonna vote them, still go vote. I really, really would encourage anybody who has a
Absolutely.
vote to go vote.
Just
go
vote.
vote. Have your opinion.
Who cares?
Have
You
your
don't even
opinion.
have to like
That's
us.
right.
Just
Have your
don't,
opinion.
Don't let a whole bunch
Have your
of
opinion.
Don't let a tiny little electorate of people decide what your future is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what
then
it'll
you
be.
guys sit back and say,
That's
well, I
And that's
didn't agree
exactly
with
what
that.
happens every
You
4
let it
years.
happen.
But they let it
So,
happen.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
let it happen. So
Yeah.
Go do something
Well,
different this time.
I was gonna say we're gonna probably go ahead and wrap this one up.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Janice, and I appreciate you, Philip. You guys are awesome people, and I appreciate y'all for coming through.
Thank you.
And I was gonna say to all my listeners, y'all have a great night, and we're gonna go ahead and get up off of here. But I'm gonna do a little shout out too. I'm gonna shout out, R&R Cleaning Solutions LLC. I'm gonna shout out Beauty by Bree. I also have Tables and Chairs LLC, and we have Trackside Motorcycle Customs in Seneca. These are all local businesses in the Joplin area, and they're all businesses that mean dear to me. So if you could, look us up on Facebook. Do what you got to do to get to us. But we're here for you, and we're definitely ready for you. And
well, we'll say it like Obama would say. Yes, we can. Let's get together and bring a change in the state of Missouri. The only difference that we're doing this time, you're not going to vote blue. You're going to vote red.
Red.
It might be a little bit different. I'm going to talk to Joe about it. I'm going to tell him it's all good. But this time we're just going to vote red instead of blue. It's going to be okay. I'm going to hear from Melania and Michelle about it a little bit, but it's okay. Let's just do what's right and let's go Missouri.
Heck yeah. Well, well, that's the end note on this one. Like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate the viewers, and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you all as guests. Go ahead and do your outro, man.
Hope everybody has a great night. And if you haven't followed us, follow us and check out Dr. Philip and Dr. Janice Cotrone. And go out there and vote.
And this has been ZZZ Mafia presents the House Mafia podcast. I hope y'all have a great, wonderful night.
Good night.
Change your clock. Ooh, that was good.
Oh yeah, don't forget to change your clocks, y'all.